Let's go!
Get your popcorn ready.
It's game time, baby. Put your feet up on that coffee table.
Yes, sir.
Check what's in the fridge.
This has to be, hands down, bar none, the best introduction.
Yes.
The best introduction. I'm so serious. If y'all can see me right now, I'm smiling from ear to ear.
To me, it was a no-brainer.
Awarding you the badge of honor.
Not just a no, it's a hell no. You can't be the bearded Bears fan without a sexy ass beard, bro.
All right.
Bears fans took this shit took off with it. You know what I'm saying?
Bobby Bomb sneaking on the Jumbotron.
Hey, what's up? It's Allen Robinson's Tailgate with Barfly Tailgate Show on the Bears Ballroom Radio Network.
Here we go, Barflies. Welcome to the Barfly Tailgate Show. You already know it's live. It's done by Barflies, for Barflies, and all the other Bears fans out there. A big pull-off upset come from behind victory after a dismal 3 quarters of just shit. We'll talk about that today. We got the Giants coming up. We're back home in Soldier Field. Everything's going to be set up. The show's about to start. Let me introduce the crew we got here. First, we got Mr. Ryan Badgley, Badge of Honor. Badge, what up?
Yo, what's up, guys? I couldn't have said it any better, Bobby. The debacle of the first 3 quarters turned into a, what do we want to say, Motor City Miracle, maybe? I don't know. I'm just pulling things out of my ass. It's a Sunday morning, hey. Dude, I'm ready to go, man. Back home, Soldier Field. Ready to kick it. I'm excited for this game. I love anytime the Bears play the Giants just because I live in New York. My dad is a Giants fan. I've got a bunch of friends who are Giants fans. Now, last year went different with us pulling out the dub at Soldier than the last 2 times I've seen them because, Bobby, we were there for one.
That we were.
Disappointing, but we had no Mitch. Chase Daniel was the starter that day. Yeah, went to overtime. We had a chance.
Carved up by Barkley. Jesus.
Oh yeah, it was rough. But it's a new day. My day started off shitty. I dumped water everywhere, all over in here, and you know what? It's just gonna go up from there because I've got a good feeling. So let's get after it.
Let's get it. Next, we got the bearded Bears fan, Aaron Curran, AC in the place to be, the Kentucky Kid. What up, man?
What's going on, fellas? I felt a little chill in the air this week. I work nights, so when I get off, it's pretty cold. Got to wear my hoodie a couple times this week, which is my favorite weather is hoodie weather. Got me a little excited. It's football season finally. Watched that roller coaster of a game last week, and hopefully we can put it all together this week. And we'll get into all that, though. I ain't gonna make a big preview like Badge did.
Definitely, man. I mean, it was a nail biter, but it was like the whole game. It was close. You were like, I think we can still do this. And it was funny. I was talking to me and Gaines and I were going back and forth through text, and like the Lions would score, and I'm like, shit, there's a 55%, and we were just guessing random percentages. Neither of us were like, statisticians or nothing like that. Like, there's a 52% chance that we're gonna win, and then he's like, 78. I was like, oh, what the fuck are you smoking? I'm like 50, whatever. And we just kept going, and it just kept going up and up and up and up. And I was like, oh my God, man, they're really gonna pull this off. Like, this is gonna happen. And then
I was watching on the ESPN app because, like I told you guys, I left the local bar and grill at halftime. And it would show you percentages of who's supposed to win, and when it got 23-6, it was a 99.1% chance the Lions were gonna get the victory.
Yeah,
and then we just started clawing and just clawing our way back, man.
I want to say that the thing was, like, in the last 17 years, it's only been done 4 times or something like that, man. Like, crazy comeback victory. Either way, I was here for it, and that's Could you imagine what Chicago would be like right now if Mitch didn't come back and looked in the fourth quarter the way he looked in 1, 2, and 3, and where we would be right now with?
We'd be starting Nick Foles today.
I honestly think
don't know.
we wouldn't be, and that would be the main problem right now. And all week long, the talk would have been something different. And we'll get into this week's talk. We'll get into Tariq Cohen being re-signed and extended. We'll get into the Allen Robinson trade. I would say trade, BS, and then the looking for an extension thing. We got a little inside scoop on that. Then we're going to do a badge of honor here with Jermaine Horton, and, we'll kick it around the room and go. Barfly's in the chat. Go ahead, throw us questions, throw us whatever you want, man. I'll throw one out to you guys that I put on Twitter last night. It's just, for those currently out of state, or if you have been out of state, what's the best Bears bar around you? Where do you like to tailgate at out of state and, either watch the game or whatever? What's the best Bears bar near you? One of the replies from Bear fan Dan was – now I got to get to it. Was Wyman's in Denver. Really cool Chicago bar, great food, and Bloody Marys. Watching the Bears game there is a blast. Dan, in honor of you, I cracked open a Bloody Mary this morning, and I guess that's a little plug for the bar, that's near my house. But we got the Bloody Mary going, man. But let's get this thing started, dude. Bears come from behind. They end up pulling it off 27-23. Mitch goes just ham in the fourth quarter and goes nuts. Prior to that, I think all in all, well, you know what? Let's go. I got a little story.
I was just going to say.
I got a little story for you guys.
Okay.
Let's go ahead and let's hit story time real quick. And then,
story time with Bobby Bombs.
Nope, not with me.
Not with Bobby Bombs. Story time is coming up in just a moment.
This is Dan Aguirre's Bears Diary.
That's right. This is Dan Aguirre's motherfucking Bears Diary. Jesus, did I just say that or think it aloud? Well, week 1, to quote John Facenda, was the spectacle of sport. Still, it was strange to have no fans in the stands, not even Greg Braggs. And what the fuck was up with Fox's canned crowd noise? The Bears, to my delight, were actually running the ball effectively in the first half, but unfortunately Jimmy Graham was experiencing some unbearable pain in his ass, evidently, which precluded him from jumping. No pun intended with unbearable and Bears. However, the Bears were able to accumulate 6 points on the often unstable and unreliable foot of one Carlos Santos. Just kidding. I know his name's Cairo. That's arguably the most memorable thing from John Fox's tenure as coach. The Bears' defense gave up back-to-back scoring drives at the end of the first half and at the beginning of the third quarter. Clearly, those, however, were Mitch's fault. Hey, did you hear that Khalil Mack had 6 pressures in the game or whatever? We gave up 2 first-round picks and a cavalcade of cash for just pressures now? I love 52, but I can't remember him having a big game since the Packers in December of 2018. Sorry. In spite of all this, Mitchell Trubisky threw 3 fourth-quarter touchdowns to 3 different receivers, including the before-mentioned Graham and Javon Wims and Anthony Miller, which gave the Bears a 27-23 lead after trailing 23-6, no less. Predictably, the alleged unassailable Bears defense let the Lions march down the length of the field. But wait! Some rookie running back dropped the game-winning touchdown! Whew. Bears hold on to win 27-23, but still I'm supposed to pretend that this win doesn't really matter because it was just the Lions and Mitch still sucks and the defense is still great. And man, fuck that. I remember Jordan Howard, he dropped a touchdown, a game winner no less, in the same fashion opening day 2017 versus Atlanta, and nobody said, well, that win was an aberration and it shouldn't count for the Falcons. It was a win then, it's a win now. And speaking of winning now, let's go do that today against the Giants and be 2-0. Somebody back me up. Coach? Go Bears! Yeah. And somebody tell me why the fuck I'm writing in a diary. I'm a 39-year-old man, for fuck's sake. Back to you, Bobby Bombs, and the Barfly Tailgate Show.
Fucking
great.
Great.
Bear fan Dan Aguirre, man. I was, had this little idea and went with it, and it has to be one of the best storytelling dudes I know. And we're gonna give you Dan's diary, even though he's like, I'm a 39-year-old man, Bobby. Why the hell am I doing this? But Dan's always down for it, man, and he's ready to go. You can find Dan on the not on the Barfly Tailgate Show. Obviously, you can find him at the beginning doing the diary, but you can find him at Bears Barroom Radio Network doing Dan and Aldo Bear Their Souls. Great show that they got going there, and to just Dan's. I don't know if it's his voice or it's just the way he tells a story, dude. I'm locked in every time the dude starts talking. So, Dan, we appreciate it, and let's go with Dan's little recap there. Came out, looked like crap the first three quarters, right? I'd say the running game was great, a lot better than we maybe had expected, or maybe what we've just been waiting for these last couple of years. And we'll just keep it to the offense for right now. The line looked good. Fetty looked really good. There was the common, missed blocks here and there and pressure allowed. Badge, over to you, man. What's your thoughts on the offense during this game? And let's not, we don't need to base it all off of the fourth quarter comeback, even though that's the most exciting thing. Like, everything. Go ahead, man.
Yeah. So, if you haven't had the chance to watch Peyton Manning's breakdown of the offense, it's 25 minutes long, but it will be a very wise 25 minutes for you to sit down and watch, because he doesn't focus solely on Mitch. He focuses on the offense as a whole quite a bit. Very eye-opening for me personally. I think a lot of people think the first three quarters were a shit show, and they really weren't as bad as you thought. After going back, looking at the game myself personally, and then watching Peyton's breakdown, there were things that could have gone other ways. A miss here, a miss there. I thought Mitch did a nice job allowing his receivers to make plays. The run game I thought was excellent. Jermaine Ifedi at that right guard spot, I did not expect him to be a road grader at guard. I mean, you saw what he did at tackle in Seattle. This guy played phenomenal, I thought. The line as a whole, I thought, was great. You heard Peyton Manning highlight Charles Leno hustling after that fumble late in the game. That goes back to Detroit. That's over for us. And quite honestly, I'm not afraid to admit it. I tweeted out game over right there, because I thought, oh man,
I know, and I gave you shit.
Thanks to that too.
And it's warranted. Somebody came back to me on Twitter. I said, hey, if we come back and win this shit, I'll wear that egg all day. I don't care. And I just thought the offense, it took a while to get going, but it wasn't as bad as people thought. And the way we finished, we need to take that momentum into this week. And, I just said in the chat, I need to holster my breakouts.
Holster your tweeter.
Yeah, holster my tweeter and holster my opinions on breakouts, because I thought they were going to do it.
Yeah, not just you, though, man. I mean, you've seen all of social media, all Bears fans. People were like hunting for Trubisky. They were hunting for Nagy. I called them out and I still will right now, on that 4th and 7 where they decided to go. I believe it was 4th and 7. They decided to go for it instead of putting points on the board. I get it would have been a 50, I think 3-yarder or 52-yard field goal. Yeah. But whatever, man. I don't care if you feel you're like having kicker problems or whatever.
He was hitting from 58 in warm-ups.
Exactly, and that's what
you're in a dome, and you don't have to worry about fans.
Let's stop bubble wrapping and babying these dudes. Get your ass out there and make the damn kick. What side of the hash you want it on? That would be the only question I would ask. And then
absolutely.
Then do it and let's go. Because you start off right, you get 3 points, you get a little momentum. The drive was successful. Whenever you go for it on 4th and the defense stops you, that is such a boost to the defense to
Yeah.
where they shut you down, that you can literally swing the momentum on your own. If your kicker comes out and misses a kick, it doesn't boost the defense's momentum. It might kill that kicker, it might like hurt him, but I'm not about the feelings department for the kicker. I mean, that's your damn job. So for me, I thought that the points, whenever you can get points, you get them. If it was 4th and 1, maybe I'd be singing a different story.
Right.
But 4th and 7,
long.
yeah, you get the damn points, man, and then you come off. Hey, good drive, fellas. Way to execute. Here we go. Jimmy turns around and says, "Hey, that's on me. I should have caught that ball," like he did in the after show, and that's it. And you continue to go from there. But what do we got here, Badge?
Oh, this is just a little play here to Darnell Mooney that goes for nothing.
That's what blows me away.
I wanted to mention too on that, Bobby.
Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead, AC.
I was just gonna say it. Not only that play that you just showed, where it was 3rd and 5, and they throw a ball behind the line of scrimmage. It was 3rd and 7 earlier, and they threw a little crossing route for like 2 yards. It ended up being incomplete, but like, what are you expecting to get out of that? If the defender's playing where he should be playing, you're not going to get 7 yards out of that. So, like, I don't know. I'm not a offensive guru, but I'm sending my receivers past the sticks at least. Maybe I'm crazy. I don't know.
No, I mean it's how it should be, man. I mean, you push them to get that damn. The receiver should know where to run, and they should know how it goes.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yep.
So I don't know.
I just think that
I'm getting a little feedback.
Me, I like Nagy. Oh, you are? I'm not. I don't hear it. I don't hear anything.
All right, you got go ahead, Ben.
Somebody have their YouTube on or something. Not down all the way, but I don't like. I shouldn't say I don't like Nagy. I like Nagy. I'm just some of the stuff he says. He's trying to bullshit you, and you can't bullshit a bullshitter. And I don't think Bears fans are dumb enough to, his comments in the presser on Wednesday about, why they didn't take the points. Oh, well, we were prepared for this situation. We this is what we wanted to do, so on and so forth. You've got the opportunity to get points in the NFL. You've got to take that opportunity to take those points because it does make a difference. You get that field goal, your offense puts points on the board on that second drive, and now you've got to kick off and maybe something positive happens for your special teams. Maybe Detroit fumbles the kickoff, and now you recover in your own territory and you're set up. Obviously, it's a hypothetical, but I just don't think you can turn down a 52-yard field goal or 51-yard field goal there and feel comfortable with what happened on 4th and 7. Not to keep going back to the Peyton Manning breakdown, but on that play specifically, everybody was all hell bent out of shape. You saw it all over Twitter that Mitch threw a bad ball. Well, basically what Peyton was saying was he put it there for the receiver so it was away from the defender. And then the same thing, you go back to that amazing catch by Allen Robinson later in the game, the same thing there. Now, yes, Jimmy Graham was open on the other side, which would have gone for a big play as well, possibly a touchdown. But as Peyton said, are you going to give up 25 yards to throw it short to Jimmy Graham in hopes that something good happens? I think the focus is on Mitch. It can't just be on Mitch. It's got to be the offense as a whole, and that starts with the play caller. And I know that's Bill Lazor calling plays right now, but Nagy he's the guy. It's his offense. And I think sometimes he wants to be too. We've talked about it for the last, here, this is year 3 for him. He likes the trickery and so on and so forth. And I think last week you didn't see a lot of that, which was great. But in a situation like that, now you're at Soldier Field today. I don't know the weather in Chicago. I don't have it up, but you're gonna, in a situation like that, that's where you might go for it on 4th and 7, or just punt the ball away, depending on how the weather is since you're outside. But you're in a dome.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no fans. There's nothing to distract your kicker, and he hit from 58 in warmups. Just put the points on the board.
Yeah, I agree completely.
But
going back to talk about the offense, you said, you were talking about the O-line looking really good. You're getting a good push. I was really excited. I mean, I play defense, so when I see an offensive line that's hitting and pushing the D line back, that gets me pumped up, man. And where you're getting 4 or 5 yards a clip out of 3 different backs, that's difficult to defend, and it puts your guys on their heels. I saw a lot of play action plays that I really loved seeing that. And I don't know if that's Bill Lazor or if that's Nagy learning from last year, but I saw a lot in this offense that we can be excited about and we can have higher hopes for than last year. And honestly, I mean, a lot of people talk about Twitter being like the 7th level of hell, but I think that's the Facebook comment section. I mean, there was a video that the Bears put together and they put it on all their social media platforms, and it was great because it was exactly how I felt. It would show a play and then show a reaction, show a play and then show a reaction.
Yeah.
And so I went into Facebook and went through the comments, and this guy was like, if we don't get our head out of our ass and start Nick Foles and realize that Mitch isn't that good, he put 1 quarter of decent football together. And I went on there and I said, dude, 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, and 143 quarterback rating is not decent football, sir. And he was like, well, yeah, talk to me next week when he's taking the L. And I said, I'm more, and we'll get into this later, I'm more worried about Adrian Peterson looking like he found a fucking time machine and went back about a decade running all over our defense.
Yeah, we'll get into defense here in a second, but I honestly think so. I mean, there was a couple plays, right, that could have totally shifted that game, or shifted the first couple quarters. I think the Jimmy can't jump, Jimmy forgot how to jump. Couple plays, right? Which I think, granted, that part of it kind of, it did. It slowed the game down. Like a couple of those could have just kept us going and firing right off again. But then, in a good comment on Jimmy, I think without Jimmy Graham, we're still in the same tight end situation.
Oh, yeah.
Cole Kmet didn't really show much. The kid's a rookie. You know what I mean? Yeah. And everybody that was shitting on the Jimmy Graham signing, I think the 4th quarter, and a couple plays during the game, minus the, I forgot how to jump deal, showed exactly what we need out of him and has him there, because there's no way that Kmet pulls those off. I think we all seen that one play where he just ran the wrong route. He stopped short and turned around and Mitch threw it to him, and then Mitch looked at him like, what the hell? Here's Jimmy Graham's first touchdown as a Bear. And that's it. I mean, the dude's 6'7". You get him outside, you throw him the jump ball. If the corner's in front of him, he goes back to the corner of the end zone. If the corner's back playing off behind him, he just runs the quick out and gets out there, and he just bodies the dude. Just body him out.
You saw him last year. You saw him do it last year against us, week 1. He boxed out Deion Bush.
Yeah.
That's how the Packers scored their only touchdown. So now you use that, you have that weapon, you use it. And I thought that was a nice thrown ball by Mitch there. Bobby, just as you alluded to, if a corner steps up, you're going to the back corner. Otherwise, you're throwing it high and outside, and you're allowing your big-bodied receiver to make a play. And it worked to perfection. It got the Bears going on offense. And Jimmy Graham, I think, is a great addition to this team. I didn't like the signing just because what we saw last season and how he was utilized in Green Bay. But I think you're going to see something different from him this season in the way this offense is built. I agree on Cole Kmet. It's his first game. He's getting used to, being in the NFL now as a rookie. He's got that under his belt. It's out of the way. And, I just think him and Jimmy Graham are going to be a tandem to be reckoned with. And even Demetrius Harris as well. He's a guy you can't forget about either.
Yeah.
I love that 3 tight end set in the red zone. Who the hell are you going to cover? What are you going to do to cover those 3 guys? Who are you putting on them?
Yeah, and I think so. The one pass to Demetrius Harris, I do think it should have been a touchdown, but Mitch put that ball where it was supposed to be put. I've seen a couple commentaries and a couple things saying that Mitch missed that pass. The ball's put in the corner of the end zone. Granted, he might have thought Demetrius was a little quicker and would make it out there, but the ball's put where it's supposed to be. Going through the chats, and I just had to update but shut down YouTube and open it again because I wasn't getting any of these. Ron Rupp now, Leno was terrible. How can the Bears improve with such a weak player on the offensive line? He might have been terrible. He wasn't terrible.
I didn't think he was terrible. I thought he was.
I disagree.
He was average.
I don't. Yeah.
He missed a couple, and he did flop. He did flop down. I rewatched it twice, man, and then I watched all 22. There's a couple where you see it doesn't even look like he gets touched, and he kind of like falls in front of dude. But did he slow him down enough where a running back should have went through? Sure, he did. But all in all, there was a couple whiffs. There was a couple, that drops. Ooh, and then Terrence Young jumps in the chat. Oh, Terrence, what's up, brother? How are you, man?
What up, T?
Dude, I don't think Leno was terrible. And I get people are saying that and whatever. I like Charles Leno. I think he's there. I think he's a good fit.
Me too.
And I think people are kind of just looking at anything they can. Go watch the All 22 for any NFL team. Go watch it for a Pro Bowler, man. And pick out
tackle doesn't win every single.
Yeah, exactly.
Just like people shit on Mitch for missing throws. Every single quarterback in the league has throws they wish they could get back.
Yep. Yeah. So I wouldn't go so far as terrible. I mean, did Mitch get any blindside sacks? Did he get freaking, whatever? Did Leno cover the football? Granted, did he recover the football on a scramble run around play where his guy kind of not knocked Mitch back? But the Bears still ended up, and I don't remember exactly where I seen it, but they still ended up with like the most amount of time to throw. Like in an unpressured pocket, Mitch had the most amount of time in whatever last week. So they gave him enough time to execute and do his thing. I think Nagy's play calling was good. I don't think it was horrible. I like the whole run attack and push, and that's something that we're going to have to do today, and we'll get into it later, but that's something we're going to have to do today against the Giants because the Steelers kind of carved them up on that, man. Steelers put up a lot of rushing yards, and they put up, a good passing touchdowns and a good amount of that. I liked the play calling, like I said, and I think Nagy
I'm sorry.
No, Nagy even came out in the presser last week and said, it was something that I had to look at myself for and do better at this year. And I like how his humility, just having the humility as a head coach to say that, I think is all positive things, man.
I agree. I think that's really the first time I feel like I've heard Nagy say that he's really kind of gut checked himself, and it was good to hear. I was happy to hear him say that, and I think it was very warranted. I think the coaches that came in and Juan Castillo and John DeFilippo, I think they talk openly, as Nagy said, and I think they said, hey, if we want to be effective, we got to run the ball. You heard Nagy talk about the play action pass game and how comfortable Mitch is with it. Again, I'm going to go back to Peyton Manning. Those play action fakes need to be better. You heard him say it. He says you want to sell it. You want to sell the play action. And, that was something I didn't pay much attention to
Yeah.
Now I'm really going to be looking for it because I want to see if a guy as great as Peyton Manning was, if any of these coaches and Mitch saw this and I want to see, that's one of the things I'm going to focus on today is if they're running play action, how is the fake? Even Peyton saying, Tariq Cohen, you need to make it better. David Montgomery, you need to make it better. So there's things I think offensively, definitely we can do better, but I didn't think the line played really that bad at all. I didn't think Charles Leno was that bad. Like I said earlier, Jermaine Ifedi I thought was excellent. And I really think there's a good chance that we can take it to the Giants today. Fingers crossed. I'm hoping we do that, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, Ifedi, what I noticed when I was watching, Ifedi's a lot bigger than I thought he was. Now, I haven't watched a ton of Seattle Seahawks football, but I thought he was, I don't know, I thought he was going to be thinner than he was. He just looked like a refrigerator Perry out there coming out and hitting people, man. He was just huge. At least that's how he looked to me.
Yeah, I agree. The track play they ran was fantastic with Cohen. Ifedi getting out. Ooh, baby.
Dude, Ifedi was
closer to the end zone.
Ifedi was just doing it, man. You seen him squaring up, boxing out. I get, whatever. Some of the guys one of the guys that he went up and had to kind of, swing his hips around, get in front of was like a nickel corner, but whatever. That's who was there. That's the guy to block.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You hit someone, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, he's getting up and he's like squares the hips up, shows his ass in a good way of, hey, this is the way you go type deal, like for a running back. If you have ever ran with a football, when you see a dude's ass, you're like, yeah, that's where I'm going. Like I'm running right off the edge of that thing. And they square up, make the lane. You got asses all fucking next to you. That's a beautiful thing to look at and just run, man. And I know it sounds weird, it sounds whatever, but that's how it's done. And he, I think, did it great. I get Seattle and them all talking crap and whatever and saying he's a bum, he's this, he's that. That's what everybody says about their first round pick that didn't make it. Because he was a letdown. But this dude is doing something that countless NFL players do, and he's establishing himself with a new team. And granted, it's only week 1, right? But he's coming to a new team, establishing himself there, and he's got that chip on his shoulder where I'm going to show you attitude. Bobby Boom Boom Bombs looking rough today. That's my old man. Thanks. Yeah, thanks, dickhead.
I love it.
Tell him.
I started laughing.
I gotta say,
I'm about to get back on top. I got a Bloody Mary right here. Man.
Before we get off the offense, I just gotta say, man, I made a Facebook status about this. Name another quarterback in the league that throws for 3 touchdowns in the fourth quarter, brings their team all the way back, and wins the game, and still gets shat on by his own fan base.
Yeah.
Name another one.
Yeah.
There's not one.
Yep.
If Brady does this against the Jets with the Patriots,
Daniel Jones.
Yeah.
Yeah. If Brady does this with the Patriots against the Jets, nobody's saying, well, it was the Jets. No. They're saying give that motherfucker MVP. It shouldn't matter who's on the other side. You're playing NFL football. If this kid shows up and shows out, he deserves respect and he deserves accolades.
I get it, but don't act like you weren't pissed off at Mitch in the first 3 quarters either. You know what I'm saying?
He was missing some throws, honestly. Right. But when I went back and watched the game, I don't know what else he could do. He wasn't giving up those touchdown drives.
So let me ask you this. Are you comfortable with your head coach saying that your starting quarterback is consistently inconsistent?
No. And I've said that since he started. He's good, but he struggles with staying consistent.
Yeah, I get it, man. And I'm not I don't think any of us are real homers. I think we get behind the dudes that are playing. I'm
definitely a homer.
I think we get behind the dudes that are playing, but I don't think you're gonna die on that on that run of Mitch, like to where, you know, it's always Mitch no matter what. And if he plays like shit, you don't care. It's still Mitch because he's under contract, whatever. I'm not on that. Like, I don't care what a dude's getting paid. I don't care where we drafted him. If you're not the best player at that position, get your ass off the field and give us the dude who's the best on the team for that position. I think that's where we sit. And I believe that Mitch is the best player for that position. And I believe Foles has done the same shit. He's been inconsistent, you know, like not with us, but he's been inconsistent in the past. And there's a reason that when Foles came back healthy, Gardner Minshew still started. And Minshew is another quarterback who threw 3 touchdowns last week in the opening game, but whatever, man. Looking at it, I'm still, you know, Mitch is still the starter, and he showed why in the fourth quarter. What we need him to do is show why throughout the game. And I think he could have done that. And like, you know, in the famous words of Greg Braggs, it's not all on Mitch. Like Graham catches those passes and there we go. Now we're moving and we're going. And maybe we have more. I mean, Nagy rushed the ball 29 times, and I think it's 29. It's somewhere right in there, but he rushed the ball like 29 times. He completes that pass, a couple more rushes, whatever, another dump or another throw, another jump ball to the end zone, and then there we are. I think that they showed a lot. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think too, there was no preseason. These guys didn't face any other team in the league this offseason or preseason, as it's called, and have the opportunity. I mean, you can simulate stuff in practice all day long, but it's different when you're facing somebody else that you haven't seen. And yes, that happened for every NFL team this week. And there were some teams that clicked. You look at the Kansas City Chiefs, it was like they didn't miss a beat from last season. But I think now as you build, you finish strong, and you know, I think we've said it before. I feel like this team needs to have that finish mantra of, hey, we started slow last week. Look how the game ended. We finished strong. Now we need to do that week over week. So when the game starts, if I'm the coaches, the last thing I'm saying before these guys hit the field, whether it's offense or defense, finish plays. Don't leave anything out there. The hustle from Charles Leno Jr. to recover that fumble so the Bears were able to punt instead of the Lions getting the ball. That you can't. That's something that, you know, 2 years ago, maybe in the Fox and definitely at the end of the Trestman era, you're not going to see somebody hustling to cover that up. I just don't see it.
Yeah.
That's, you know what I mean? That's just something that a player just has to know to do. And it saved the game for the Bears because that could have really been deflating. The defense, Jalen Johnson, I know we hadn't got to the defense yet.
Yeah, go ahead. Run into the defense, man. Go ahead.
I'm gonna go to it. Jalen Johnson, to me, he's a rookie making his first start. No preseason games. Really has only gone against receivers on his roster. And I thought he played phenomenal. Phenomenal football. He was around the ball. That play, the interception, and I don't give a shit what anybody says. It was Jalen Johnson who put the ball in the air and allowed Kyle Fuller to pick it off. Eddie Jackson was there, but it was Johnson's hand that hit the football and got it in the air for Kyle Fuller to pick off and give the team a chance to win. The pass rush was a little lacking for me. I was super disappointed, especially with the fact that there was the lack of a push from the defensive line, which, you know, we expected to be very strong. Barcavius Mingo wasn't really getting home. You know, you had an injured tackle and an injured guard on this Lions offense, and we just couldn't get home until late in the game when Akeem got that sack, you know, really late. So I thought Trevathan, you know, he admitted he didn't play his best game, that he's going to get better. I liked how Pagano switched him out with Deion Bush. I thought that worked much better. You know, Danny just losing his step. He's getting up there in age. But I can't say enough about Jalen Johnson and, you know, having him and Kyle Fuller on the field together, and then you put Eddie and Tyshawn Gibson. I thought Gibson played really well too.
Yeah.
So this defense, while they may have not been at their best, I mean, I'd take it. There was a couple bumps in the road, but it's week one.
Yeah.
I mean, they gave up a
I'm-
lot of rushing yards, right? And they're honestly, I think they actually came out of this game with like 29th ranked defense in week one. I think, which is not good. I mean, we got smoke checked, but Matthew Stafford does that to people. He's like they say, he's stat Padford. Like the dude is gonna get a lot of yards. He's gonna get it going, right? But he's not gonna punch it in all the time. I think Danny definitely looked like he lost a step. He hopefully it's conditioning, hopefully it's whatever, and he's back on it this week. Because there's no way Danny Trevathan covers Saquon out of the backfield this week. Not a fucking chance.
Right.
I think that I actually thought Barkevius Mingo, I thought he played awesome. I thought
he did a lot better than I was expecting.
Yeah. I thought Kiki came out and did it, man. Like I was good. I was good with him. I think it's definitely noticed what we're missing up front. Surprised that we haven't gone out and tried to buy some snacks or whatever.
Right.
But then again, we're still in this whole A-Rob and Tariq thing. Well, Tariq's done, but I don't. Whatever. Still involved with that. So who knows what snacks want? That's not up to me to decide. But I think Jalen looked great. The secondary is the secondary. I believe that secondary is feared by opposing quarterbacks, and what we need, and we got some of it, right? We did, and I'm not going to shit on Khalil Mack because I think Mack, I mean, he like Dan said in the open, he did provide a lot of pressure.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't get any sacks. I get it, but when you're the only thing pressuring, it's kind of easy to go away from. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And I think that's exactly what it is the focus is on Khalil Mack, and the Lions are going to try to avoid him in any way possible just from what he's done to them in the past.
Correct.
And it was obvious. It was very obvious.
Yeah.
He got 2 holding calls, and there was at least 2 more that he could have gotten that weren't called.
Yeah.
Trevathan, he's a Kentucky guy. I freaking love DT. All right. I got his jersey upstairs, but man, I'm hoping it was just rust that he had to knock off, and his and Father Time's not catching up with my boy Danny. But I mean, if he struggled covering Hawkinson and AP out of the backfield, I mean, Saquon Barkley and Evan Ingram scare the crap out of me. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie at all. And then like y'all were saying, our secondary, I thought they looked really good together. There was a couple of times when, like, there was one touchdown where Hawkinson boxed out Tyshawn Gibson, but I mean, just like our guy Graham, you're gonna have that with a big body tight end, and D line, like just like you said, Bobby, I'm step for step with you. How? And I thought they should have called Snacks Harris. Is it Harrison or whatever?
Harrison. Yeah,
I thought they should have called him the day after Goldman was like, "Yeah, I'm not going to play this year." Because I mean, I guess the draft pick gets the first shot at it, but I just don't think Bilal Nichols has the body type to play nose tackle. He's a good defensive end in our scheme, but I just don't think he's not wide enough to play nose tackle, man. You got to have a big dude in there taking up 2 or 3 blocks,
He's definitely not Eddie. Like, I mean, we'll leave it at that. And real quick, AC, I just want to apologize because I told Badge to put you on full screen so I could eat my olives that were in the bottom that were in the bottom of my Bloody Mary, but I never muted myself. So I looked down and I seen I was probably fucking blah, 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 making all kinds of noise while you were talking. Hey, it happens. All right. Last thing, let's go over special teams real quick. Anything crazy that you've seen or any standout dudes? I think all of our draft dudes, all the dudes we drafted did really well. Travis Gibson, Darnell Mooney. I know we haven't talked on Mooney, but Mooney played, I thought, great.
Oh, yeah.
I think
he was given a chance.
yeah, I think what we said last week on the show about Mooney coming out and really surprising the league, and maybe he didn't blow up with the a touchdown or the first thing that we thought, but the dude showed what he's going to bring to the table and showed that he's a threat. We already talked about Jalen Johnson. I mean, these rookies came out and they did it, man. Minus Cole, and Cole wasn't on our rookie predictions last week because I think this was expected. But on the other side of it, special teams. Any standout guys you got over there, or any dudes that you guys think is maybe making a name for himself? And then we'll move into this week. The Giants game coming up, and we'll move into dudes that were put on the roster that are active this week that weren't last week.
There's only a couple of things I wanted to touch on with special teams. Number one, Cairo Santos. I'm glad I was wrong about you last week. Shout out, hitting all your kicks. And number two, a big part of that comeback was the big return by Cordero Patterson in the fourth quarter. Or maybe it was late in the third. I'm not sure. But he sparked part of our big comeback. So those are the two special teams things that stuck out to me. Anything with you, Badge?
I mean, yeah, I would have liked to have seen Santos kick that 52-yarder just to see, but that's on the head coach.
That's
not
his
really
call,
on him. I thought he kicked well. Had some touchbacks, which is great. Seemed to be kicking the ball deep to the end zone. Other than that, I mean, your special teams guys, I know Eric Sauerbert's gone this week. So, that's one of those new additions. He was primarily there for special teams. But, I don't want to see a lot of field goals, but, I would like to see Santos today and see how he does with the wind in Soldier Field. I want to say he was 4 of 9 when he was here before.
I think that was what he was last year. I think he was in Tennessee, but
Okay.
I think he was still dealing with coming back from injury at that point. To me, he looks a lot more healthy. Now, he did play in Kansas City, which tells me he knows how to kick outside and in the cold. Because it doesn't get Chicago cold, I don't think, in Kansas City, but it still gets cold out there. And I don't know about the wind in Kansas City either, but that'll be something I'm definitely looking for as well. Is how does Cairo deal with outside?
Well,
it's not.
Yeah,
I don't think it's cold yet, though, is it?
Supposedly he went to it's 62. I think they said the game day, and that was from Joe. Two Scoops earlier in the chat said I think he said 62 and whatever today, cloudy or whatever the hell he said. But Santos actually it was reported earlier this week that he went to Soldiers Field and was kicking there this week.
That was on Twitter.
Yeah, being home, he was kicking. There you go, 65 degrees at kickoff. But he was, being home and not having to travel and whatever. He went down and he was kicking field goals in Soldier Field this week. So I mean that's a plus. We seen Pinheiro though. I mean I thought he was done until week 3, but I don't want a kicking competition, dude. I mean Santos came out. We called it last week. He went. Well, not all of us called it. I mean, some of us did, but not all of us did. He came out and went perfect, and did his thing right. And we don't need a damn kicking competition. We don't need any of that shit. There's already enough drama going on, and that's where maybe I think Nagy. Right. It's the only thing where I can think where Nagy decided not to kick that field goal was to say, "Hey, I would rather." Continue with this and not cause more drama, right? But I don't know that actually went through his head. I think he was just like, we can get this and let's go from here. And that's kind of how it went.
Let me ask you guys this question.
Send it.
Did you guys think it felt slow last week? Like on both sides? Did you feel like the play was much slower than...
So I thought
maybe that's just how I felt.
I thought the game was fast, and maybe the game was fast because of we've seen more runs than we've seen in the last year almost with the Bears, right? Yeah. And the clock was moving. I thought the game was fast, but the play was slow, if that makes sense.
Yeah, agreed.
And after watching, I watched all of the KC Houston game on Thursday, right? And then Sunday rolls around. The first thing I'm watching is the Bears game. They're the early game. I'm not watching any other games in between. So in what I had it to compare to this year, yes, I thought it was definitely slow. Watching some more of the games last Sunday, they all kind of seemed a little, whatever.
Preseason-ish.
Yeah. And that's to be expected, right? Like it's to be expected. And I'm honestly like, it sucks to say, I'm not surprised we've seen so many injuries in week 1. And we'll have Two Scoops and Tuchin with us later for their fantasy updates and that
implications.
You've seen a lot of dudes go down this week, man. You've seen a lot of big time dudes go down. What is that? Adeptus serpentis. It was slow from all the Lion injury timeouts. I mean, it could have been, but I think that's a conditioning thing, right? None of these teams have gone and were like really hitting each other and getting after it. And it's to be expected, man. And whatever. As long as there's football on, I'll take slow football over no football every day of the week.
Absolutely.
So I'm kind of okay with it.
Did you guys? I'm gonna step away from the Bears for just a second. Did you guys think it was weird to look up? Like I said, I was at a place called Roosters where they got all the games up. How weird was it to look up and see LV? Was it weird to you guys? I thought it was weird to see the Raiders and it said LV on there. And
I didn't even see it, man.
Yeah, I was muted. Sorry, man. I was laughing. It is weird to see it. It's the same weird as it was for me to see, and being in the Marine Corps and stationed in San Diego to see LA in front of the Chargers after that happened, right? But sorry, Carrie came out of the bathroom.
Yeah.
She's getting ready for work, and she's just got a bra on, and I was like, "Fuck, Carrie, you're on camera." And she's like, "Oh my god!" She freaked out. She's obviously not, but you should have seen her, man. She walked out like all nonchalant, like nothing's happening. I was like, "Oh, you're on camera." She freaked the hell out. Sorry, fellas, I'm not fucking providing any porn for your ass on Sunday morning.
Oh, that's hilarious. I'm okay, man.
Man, you already seen my dick today. We talked about it earlier.
Aldo walked in the room and is like, what the hell did I walk into? Oh man. So, I didn't see it. I think I've become accustomed to it at this point, just because everywhere you turn, you hear people say Las Vegas Raiders. The thing I feel like I've struggled with is saying Los Angeles Chargers.
Yeah,
I still want to say San Diego.
Well, my father-in-law, just like Bobby, well, my father-in-law was a Navy veteran, but he lived in San Diego and became a huge Chargers fan. And they lost a lot of their fan base when they moved to LA. He's like, I mean, I'll watch him, but he's not like.
A lot of the Chargers I know we're totally getting off topic, but that's okay. A lot of the Chargers fan base is transplants. They're transplants anyway. You know what I mean? I lived for 3.5 years, a block and a half away from Qualcomm, from the stadium. Like the Chargers score a touchdown, the fireworks go off, and you see it or you hear it. But they seldomly went off. You know what I'm saying? And there's there's not a big and the Padres have the same issue. What saved the Padres were, and this is totally, we're not even fucking on football anymore. But what saved the Padres was the damn military tickets, and the military purchases 700 tickets for every second Sunday home game. So whatever their second Sunday a month is for a home game, they purchase 700 tickets, and they purchase like condiments and all kinds of shit, like snack, whatever. They pay a lot of money for that stuff. And when the Padres almost went bankrupt, that's what pulled them out of it. But either way, San Diego is a beautiful city, great place to live, tough town to have a sports team in. And it shows time and time again.
Now back to your regularly scheduled program.
Back to your previous. Some of these people on
back
there.
to your Sunday Bears.
Actually, we have a lot of talk about where the Raiders should be and different things. So I think everybody's kind of on the same page with us through that stuff. I mean, who knows? and we're gonna move in. We still got a badge of honor coming up for you before we hit this week and everything. We're gonna do the badge of honor. But prior to any of that, let's roll through a little bit of expectations, I guess, or maybe not expectations, but a little bit of the re-signing of Tariq Cohen, right? Myself and Shane were talking yesterday. Old Shane Marsall, the smartest man. Well, I guess he's not the smartest man in the bar. I don't even know who the fuck is, but I'll just leave that alone. He's still.
I'll take it if it's up for grabs.
AC, you got it. I mean, he's still the smartest man. I guess he's just not the one here anymore. And I almost said the smartest man in the bar. But either way, we were talking yesterday, and we were talking about, does Cohen get a contract? And when both of us laughed when we said, what, like 2 years, $6 million a year? And I was like, well, and I told him, he said 2 years, $6 million a year. And I was like, it's probably going to be like 3 years. It's definitely not going to be 4 or 5. They'll probably give him 3 for, just under 6 or whatever. And both of us were like, yeah. And that'll probably be done before A-Rob. And then there we went, and it hit, I think I just missed the bottom line. That's a Tariq Cohen signing, but they did it yesterday. They did it before the Allen Robinson sign. And on the Allen Robinson signing part, let me pull up my messages real quick, because I've been talking back and forth with Brandon Parker, Allen Robinson's agent, and we've been talking since last week. And I was going to try, if he was signed, he was going to join us on the show today, but he's still not signed. So the dude's got work to do. His number one job is to get this shit done. And Allen isn't signed yet. And we were hoping like hell he was going to get pulled in and signed, and we'd have Brandon for you guys this morning. But their main concern is, the first thing that it started with from Brandon was their main concern was to ensure that the Bears fans and players knew how much Allen loved this team, loved this city, and this is where he wants to be for sure. And that's something that you don't normally hear from agents, I would say, because they always leave the table kind of laid flat, right? Like, we can go anywhere. We can do this. We can do that. And they don't say those things out loud to negotiate during negotiations or whatever, because then the franchise feels like they have a one up. And just, there's a lot of like good chat with him and back and forth. And then he tells me, hey, I'm working it right now. And I'm like, you working that deal? And he's like, yeah, we're in the middle of the deal. Of course, I asked him like what his floor was. And he's like, agents don't tell you what their floor is. I'm like, yeah, well, fuck, I don't know shit. I'm just asking questions. And it's really, really great. I mean, just all in all, to say, where people kind of were saying like, I can't believe he's asking for this after week 1. I can't believe this and that. Your opinion, and maybe this is just me, and don't take it as me trying to tell you what your opinion should be, but when it comes to football, I'm here. I'm like player franchise. It's not my business to get involved with who is paying who what or whatever. When it's final, cool. Like, let's go. But knowing that the cap next year is supposed to be dropped $25 million, knowing that the franchise tag is dropping $2 to $4 million, I don't blame him. He's trying to get paid. He's going into his 3rd contract now, right? And he's trying to get money. And the dude has shown that he deserves money. And the COVID thing isn't final yet. It's all based on the revenue of this year. So it could potentially not happen, or it could be a lot, maybe not a $25 million, maybe it's a 15 or whatever, right? But that's not on him to figure out. He's not financing. Like, that's not on me. I don't care where your money's going to be. I'm telling you, this is what I want, and let's go. I have no issues with it. And I think a lot of people who were bitching about it, like, what if they told you, hey, since COVID hit, your job at the auto place this year, at making freaking vehicles, I'm going to have to take, $12 away from you an hour. And
I was going to say
you're going to make 24. Get the hell out of here.
Yeah, I was going to say that's exactly. I work at a Toyota plant here in Kentucky, and we had a 2-month layoff with COVID-19 when it first hit. we got paid that entire time. It wasn't paid for 48 hours, or it wasn't paid 40 hours a week. It was paid 32 hours a week. But a lot of people, I was happy just to be still able to pay my bills. A lot of people didn't have jobs to go back to. I was blessed in that, and we just got our wage announcement the other night, and they told us we were getting a 20-cent raise, which I was blown away by. I thought for sure with the whole COVID shutdown thing, we weren't going to get a raise. So
Yeah.
I know exactly what you're saying, Bobby, about, I'm going to go get my money. And if y'all don't have your money right, that ain't my fault,
Yes, somebody will. Somebody else will. And
Oh, for sure.
and this whole thing of
And if the
he
Rams can sign all their guys, I mean,
Yeah.
if I'm Allen Robinson, I'm like, look what's going on over there.
Yeah, this
Lock
whole
me up.
thing of that he asked for a trade was false.
Yeah.
He never asked for a trade. Basically, and I won't quote it or say whatever, but between the lines and what I've got from it is that he said, well, if you guys have no intention of signing me, I would like to re-sign with somebody this year, which would mean a trade, right? There's no other way to do it. If the Bears aren't going to extend him or sign him, he would like to extend with somebody. He'd like to be locked in for however many more years with somebody. So that would mean a trade and sign, with another team. Doesn't mean that he said, like was reported by some of this, like, I want to be traded, or I want this, I want that, because that shit never happened.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest. I did not see Tariq Cohen here long term.
I thought we were going to draft somebody and replace him.
Yeah. Yep, I did too. But the deal is done. To me, I view Allen Robinson as far more important than Tariq Cohen, myself personally. And I really hope we see that Allen deal done here fairly quickly. I don't want to see it extend to where we're getting to the point where they may be wanting to put a franchise tag on him. I don't want to see us go that long. I want to see him locked up. Let's get this deal done, and we'll go from there. So before we move on any further, we are going to get to our Badge of Honor segment. And I've got a little video I'm going to play, and then we're going to bring our special guest on, and we're going to talk about this. So very excited to welcome Jermaine Horton to the Barroom Network. And here is a little video about the Art of Confidence project. And after this video, we'll bring Jermaine in, and we'll talk about everything going on.
I'm Jermaine Horton of Jermaine Horton Photography. I was born and raised in Chicago, Illinois. I live outside in Naperville, suburb. The Art of Confidence just kind of birthed itself from, giving to someone, trying to help them out. A young girl named Marion. She was the alpha of the whole program of where it all started in Jackson, Michigan. The second story was Michael Tink Trimble of Tatum, Texas. And right after I did that one, I think it was Pix 11 or something like that, one of the news stations here. They were broadcasting the story and everything that was taking place. And then someone tagged me in that on Facebook. And I was like, oh man, another one. I saw this, I was like, wow, the Black Nutcracker. Like, how do you get banned from that for having braids in that? One of the best things about this journey has been capturing people's emotions, capturing the essence of individuals. It's just been a blessing to be a blessing to other people. And, you know, I just never knew that this was going to be the outcome, that this was going to be my passion project where God was going to lead me. But I will say it's probably one of the best journeys that I've been on, and I'm enjoying it. I know a lot of people say, hey, is this only for African Americans? Who's this for? Honestly, it's for everyone. It's not just for people of color. It's for everybody. It's just so happened that every story that I've come across has been so egregious against people of color to where it took my immediate focus and my need to, and that's where I took my talents to make sure that I can help those in need. I love the fact that the girls got to be themselves. And you always want to make it fun. So we did funny faces, we did little dances, you know, we just had a great time talking about our favorite artists and things of that nature, breaking the ice. One of the things that I do want to make clear is that it's not my job to decide if one side is right or if one side is wrong and to take only one side. My side is the children. If the focus is on children whose confidences have been broken or torn down, or they're going through something and they feel like, you know, they don't see themselves as they would normally see themselves. So what can I do to empower them and restore their confidence? So that's what I'm using imagery with what I do. And the reason why I choose to do children instead of adults is because everything starts with our youth. And the thing is usually our youth, they're silenced. They don't have a voice. Some of the great minds come from our children, and sometimes children will say things that will just blow you away to make you look at things from a different perspective. So I always feel like with our children, it's very imperative that we let them know, hey, you have a voice. Let them know, hey, that you matter. Let them know that, hey, that there are people that actually care about you and want to see you grow, want to see you grow into fruition of what it is that you want to truly ultimately be. Even though children's dreams may sound outlandish, help them hone it in so that they can still believe in those dreams, because our imaginations is what empowers us and keeps us moving.
That was awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. And Jermaine, welcome to the show, man. Such an honor to have you. And this project that you started and are working on is absolutely phenomenal. Bringing children in and, you know, allowing them to express everything. Tell us how this all came about, man.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Good. All right, so it literally started when I seen so many things that were taking place online, and sometimes you want to be there and help out these children, but it's really hard to reach time because they're all across the country. But there was a store that was literally right next to me in Jackson, Michigan. So it's literally next to Detroit. So it was a quick, 4-hour drive or so. And we just wanted to use, I wanted to use my gift for something more. I am a full-time wedding and portrait photographer. I'm an ambassador for Sony, a Sony artisan with them as well. And, I never thought I would have a passion project. I was literally just, shooting what I love and what pays the bills. I also shoot for the Big Ten for University of Illinois. I shoot for the Brewers from time to time, different sports. But, when it came down to doing something that I felt that would be fulfilling, I just really felt that this was going to be what I needed and what children needed. And so I've been blessed to be in a position to where now we've covered stories all across the country where we've had support from major news outlets. We've been globally published. And it's just something that's needed, man, because our children need more support. They need more attention toward. And I feel like if we can get our youth now while they're young, then we can make sure that they have the confidence going forward to know that they are amazing and that they are a part of this society and they play a key part of it.
And right now, Jermaine, you guys are trying to raise funds to get into your own building. Tell us where our listeners can go and make a donation to help you guys achieve that goal.
Yeah, so you can go right to theartofconfidence.org, and right there on the front page, you can make donations. It's costly having, being able to do all these different stories and help these different children. I'm paying for my own airfare, paying for the hotels, paying for the Ubers, paying for the studio when we get to the location. And sometimes they don't even have studios where we end up going. As a matter of fact, I'm headed to Cincinnati for a young boy, 5-6 years old, was kicked out of a predominantly Black school because he was growing dreads. And the thing that people don't even understand is that, I get that there are entertainers that wear dreads, and most people think that it's a fashion sense, but it's really coming from our heritage and our roots. But, people never take the time out to, look at something like that, or to educate themselves. Absolutely. So, it gets costly when you're doing a lot of traveling. So what we decided was we wanted to just have a physical home right here in Illinois, where we have individuals from the community, from Chicago, that will come out, be motivational speakers and help the children, employ people in our communities to actually help with the process of what we're doing. And it's costly, even though it's a nonprofit. It's hard, man. We don't get the big corporations and everyone else that comes in. I will say that one of our biggest supporters is the Gores Group, which is one of the owners of the Detroit Pistons, really good friends of ours. Kelly Gores has been absolutely phenomenal in her direction with helping us through this whole process. Because again, when I first started this, I didn't know anything about nonprofits or anything. I just knew that I wanted to have something that would help these across the country, and I didn't want to go international, bro. Like, people were like, oh yeah, let's go to this country and do this. Like, I wanted to do it right here in America. And help out the people right here that need the most help. And I see people always going across seas. I'm like, yo, we need help right here in our own country,
Absolutely, man.
So, yeah.
Yeah, for sure, man. And I think the art of confidence, the way that you word it is perfect. I mean, I know for some people, like they look at this and they're like, well, the kid, this or this happened. But what that does to a kid to just be told like, hey, you can't be in this school because of this, changes the kid's, mindset forever. Yeah. And to have a man step in and be like, look, you're you, like, and then not to push into that, but like the BU thing, like nobody should ever, look down on you for being who you are, and to give them that freedom to just, be comfortable with themselves, be confident in themselves, and to say, hey, this is what I'm putting on the table. And if you don't like it, like, that's okay, but this is me. This is who I am. And for you to do that, man. And I know we've talked on Twitter a bunch, back and forth. And I think this, just you doing your thing, man. And like to go out and get after it, and to, take this passion project, but to it's not really like, I get it. It's a passion project for you, but what you uplift and what you do for these kids and for, for everybody, man, it's a long lasting, life changing thing for them. And I don't think that should be overlooked at all, man.
Absolutely. If you look at Deshaun Watson, a lot of people, they're just not knowing about the story with Warwick Dunn. He was one of the participants from Warwick Dunn for his foundation, giving families homes. And he had a great impact on Deshaun Watson. And look where he is today because of that program and what happened to them, and I think about other people like DeAndre Hopkins, that has dreads. It's great on game day, but why is it not great for school day? Right. It's just one of those things, man. And I'm glad to be a part of this, man, to do this, and especially on you guys' network. Huge fan. Definitely pulling in for this Bears win today. So I'm excited about this. Yeah, man. It's going down today.
What are your thoughts, man? What do you think about today's game, man?
You know what? I came in this season, I was like, yo, Mitch game 1 is gonna light them up. And like halfway through, like I want to say in the half, everybody was like, fire Mitch! Mitch sucks! You know, it's the old Mitch again.
Yep.
And I was like, yo, watch, Mitch is gonna torch them in the fourth quarter. You know,
you were with me then, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But the thing is like I tell Bears fans, because Bear fans are sometimes so insufferable, man. It's like you got to give them grace, man. Like they didn't have a preseason. They really didn't have the off-season training that they really wanted. It was so different. So give them grace, man. You know, and we're so quick to just throw down and kill these players and hit those keyboard strokes and say these things about these people, man. But man, give them grace, because, you know, I feel like they're going to really start getting into their zone. They're going to start settling in. And I think Mitch really is going to go off today. I started Mitch in my fantasy league today. So, and I started him last week, though. I started him last week, and he gave
no doubt.
So, yeah, they thought it was like, you going to start Mitch? I was like, yeah, Mitch came through for the clutch. So,
dude, I wonder. So, I mean, just I know. Just to stay on the football thing for a second. So,
yeah,
when we were going into the fourth quarter, what was the projection of? You know how they give you like projected to have this many points? Like it was like 0.2 more or 0.8 more from Mitch, and then he puts up like a 20 spot in the fourth quarter.
Exactly. I told folks Mitch was gonna do it, man. If it's one thing, I know Mitch has some errant throws. Like, don't get me wrong. I was one of those people. Like when it was the draft, I wanted Deshaun Watson. He was proven, and all these different things. And I was the one. I literally said the person I wanted out of everybody was Patrick Mahomes, because he had just had this arm and everything. But I was happy that we took the chance on Mitch, man. I still love Mitch, even though people give him a hard time, man. But you know, I'm rolling with Mitch. Mitch is not my QB. You know, so you know, I'm rooting for my boy, man. But I really think Mitch is going to. I think he's going to light up the Giants today. I really do. I just got a good feeling he's going to light them up.
Yeah, I mean, their secondary gave up a lot of yards, you know, and to Big Ben. And we have quicker receivers. I know they have Washington. I know they got Juju, right? But our receivers, I'd be willing to say that between Allen, Mooney, Miller, Wims, you know, lined up against their 4 top receivers, ours run better routes and they're quicker.
Yep.
The difference is, can Mitch put the ball where Ben puts the ball? You know, and that's what it's going to come down to. So, but I'm with you, man. Like I think we're all step for step here with like, hey, it's Mitch until it ain't, right? Like, I'm gonna back this team, and it's Mitch until it ain't, and let's go with that.
I was more worried about the defense than the offense, man. I
I
was like, Danny Trevathan, bro. Like, come on, bro. Like,
yeah.
Oh my goodness, man. And we didn't have any pass rush, but I'm happy Quinn is back this week. So I think it'd be more balanced out, because you know what's really bad? Actually, you know what? It's a gift and a curse. We asked the refs to not throw as many penalty flags. And if you notice, for the first time, though, honestly, for the first time, they literally were not calling ticky-tacky flags throughout the games. And it seemed like it's been consistent for whatever reason across the league. However, Khalil Mack gets held every time he comes across that line. So I think it's a good thing that we got Quinn. I didn't see Mingo really having that much of an impact, you know, on the other side. So I'm really hoping that Quinn really comes in and is that balance that will free up Khalil Mack so he can wreak some havoc, man. But we're missing Goldman. You could definitely
right. You can tell it, and I don't want to speak for the other guys, but that Mack and Quinn, I want to see.
Yes.
Oh, dude. Can you imagine? You're a quarterback, and those two are coming around the end. Where are you going?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, and to throw in, I mean, Akeem and Quinn and Mack, and if you had Goldman, and then find a way for. So this is what I think our defense was definitely lacking first game, right? First game of the
Yep.
season. I think they're definitely lacking. I think it's probably conditioning, probably whatever.
Yep.
I do have questions. I have questions with Chuck Pagano. I think Chuck is trying to run Vic's defense and not his own. I think he's still kind of in the transfer of running Vic's defense and not his own defense. So I think there's some issues there where he's trying to be somebody he's not. And then like the last part of it is Roquan Smith is a first round pick. Like you're supposed to be this, this Mike Singletary, this Brian Urlacher, this whatever mix of Bears linebacker. And I don't see the same like tenacity or just fire, or like whatever, like just, I don't see it in Roquan. I see Roquan as he's good. Don't get me wrong. I just don't see him taking over that Chicago linebacker mentality type bruiser.
I think he can be though. We just got to give him some grace. Toward the end of the season, he had his issues that was going on last season, which nobody still really knows. And hopefully he's overcome that and he's healthier again. And it's different. Let me tell you something. When shooting sports, man. And I've shot in some great stadiums. And when I tell you that crowd makes a difference for defense and on games, like the crowd noise that we hear on TV is not the crowd noise that they actually hear there at the game. So, and that usually it fires up a defense. It throws the offense off of their cadence and off their snap calls and things of that. So, the fact that, they don't have that as an advantage as well, it's kind of hurting them a little bit, but I think once they settle in, I really think we'll see a different Roquan. Hopefully we need to see a different Roquan, but it really starts with those guys up front, man. Once those guys up front get it together, I think everything else will transition on the back end.
Yeah, and I agree. I think he's
totally
he's a great player. I just want a little more. Like we expect so much out of our first round picks, right? And I think that he's kind of flown under the radar because of how good that defense is. Maybe we don't put him on the pedestal that we put everybody else on for first round picks. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that is true. We sure put a lot on Mitch, but we ain't put a lot on Roquan. So
and I mean, we put a lot on David Montgomery, and he was a second round pick. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'd even venture to say we put more on Montgomery than we do on Roquan.
Yeah.
But either way, I get it. He had an injury last year. I think he's still good. I think he's still probably one of the best sideline to sideline linebackers that are out there.
Yeah,
absolutely. I just think that Chicago, that Chicago fire and vigor and tenacity that come with a linebacker, maybe I just don't see it. And that's all like on the front. That's all superficial type shit. You know what I'm saying? It is. It's all. It's not in gameplay because if you look at it, I mean, I haven't looked at it, but I guarantee he's probably up there for tackles, for the game or whatever. I think even though we're all talking about Danny Trevathan, I think Danny Trevathan led the team in tackles last week. So
yeah, he was, bro. He was even. He admitted that he was
just a liability in coverage.
Yeah. And that's how the Packers defeat us every year. They find that linebacker that can't cover and they get after him, or they find that safety that dips his head, Conte, and they throw that deep ball. Then it's over with.
Yeah.
So, hey, Jermaine, I wanted to ask you one thing, man. We got the website back up and running, and we're going to update our page. And the plan is to have a little badge of honor section on our page, and we'd be honored if you let us put the artofconfidence.org on the a hyperlink, a quick link on the badge of honor page with with the donation possibility there. And he's got it. He's got his badge of honor football.
Absolutely.
And look at him holding it up, badge.
Yeah, look at that, man.
Yeah,
that's nice.
Heck yeah, man. Jermaine.
I'd be wrong if I didn't plug Jamie Dragani right now. She does an awesome job on these things, man. The tall girl, Jamie Dragani, she's awesome at this, and she's become even though she's an Eagles fan, shit. I still throw her as part of the bar room.
That's her only downfall.
I know.
Hey, better that than the Packers fan. So. I'll take that over.
That's
Pac-Man.
very true.
Very true.
Yeah, you're right. But I mean, if we could plug it and put it on the screen, man, I don't want to do it if you don't want it there.
No, absolutely, man. Yeah, absolutely, man. Any support that we can have. We have another project. We're headed to Cincinnati that I talked about. We're like $650 away to get that project up and going. We'll be there next Monday, the 28th or the 29th. That we'll be going down there to Cincinnati. And as much as I hate going to Ohio, gotta go there, man. As a Bulls fan, man, going to Ohio is just like, but for other reasons, I'm glad that I can go there and help this amazing child out. It's going to be amazing. We reached out to some people, CP3, LeBron, to see if we could get their support as well too. Just other people around the NFL, NBA, some of our PR people have been on it, reaching out to those individuals since it's right in Cincinnati. And, hopefully they take a good look at this. We've had some really good success with athletes and corporations taking a look at our program and the individuals that were part of it. So.
Well, Jermaine, why don't you tell everybody, obviously we have the website scrolling on the bottom of the screen, but let everybody know the social medias for the project and yourself as well, so they can find you guys.
So I'm not really on Twitter much, man, with my Art of Confidence, but it's art_confidence. But Instagram, it's the Art of Confidence Project, and Art of Confidence on Facebook is probably the one because you can engage more with people on Facebook more so than anything else. And people like those kind of topics where you can just really dive in, have conversations. So Facebook is probably the main place that you'll find me. For my personal account, when I'm talking Bears, it's that brush shy. I'm always supporting my Bears, my Bulls, and my White Sox. So
yeah,
I got to throw my White Sox in there, man. I'm not a Cubs fan, man. Not a Cubs fan, but I love my White Sox, man. They're doing some amazing things. But yeah, so mainly Instagram and Facebook is where you'll find me for those. Same thing. I always put my sports photos on my Twitter as well. JH Sports Pics with it is where you'll find my sports photos where I shoot for the Big Ten and other sports.
Awesome, man. Well, we thank you so much for joining us, dude. And we're so excited. Anything you're doing on social media, let one of us know, man, and we'll promote it from our pages as well. And we totally thank you so much for joining us, man. Let's get this dub today, man. And we hope you have a fantastic trip next week, man. And we look forward to what's coming after that trip, Jermaine.
Hey, that beard's looking nice, man. I like that beard down there, man.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Hey, Jermaine, man, I just want to say, can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
You're good.
All right, man. I just want to say, man, because I haven't really had the chance to really speak on what you're doing, man, and just to say how proud that there's a man out there like you that's doing what you're doing. My best friend, my brother, he has dreads, and he went through a stint at one point where they weren't gonna promote him at his job because of it, and he still ended up getting promoted because he's just a hell of a man. And then you have the stories like the one in New Jersey where you had a wrestler who had to cut his dreads off just to wrestle a match, and that kid still went through with it. So everything that you're doing, man, it's all love, and the world is appreciative for what you're doing. I just want to say that.
Appreciate it, bro. Appreciate it.
Jermaine, I know you said you were 650 away, brother. I just dropped a 50 in there. Barlissimo, George Bayless, he just dropped a 10 in there. We're down in the fives, fellas. Let's go. Chat, get in there, check it out. www.theartofconfidence.org. Donate. Let's let Jermaine just keep changing lives, man. He's got his thing he's doing, and it ain't just his. He ain't doing this for him. He's doing this for the future. He's doing this for something that we all take for granted and think are gonna be okay. But every kid's affected by different things, man. And to just build up their confidence and let them keep going is something that we all, I think, would definitely step up, and do. Just not all of us have done. And Jermaine has done it. He's on the front line doing it. And Jermaine, we appreciate your efforts, man. and we're here for you 100%, dude. If for anything that you need, if there's ever, you know, a little like, hey, fellas, this is how far away I am or whatever, hit us with a DM, hit us with anything, man. Like, be humble enough, and we will definitely push the incentive and get it done, brother. I appreciate everything you do, man. Thank you, and congratulations on the badge of honor.
Man, I appreciate it. And I seen what you guys did with A-Rob's Foundation too, man. I think that's dope. And yo, I love you guys. The fact that you guys can come in and do this in the climate that we're in, man, that really speaks volumes to who you guys are and you guys' character and integrity. So I appreciate that, family.
Thank you.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Yep. All right, you guys have a good one, man. Bear down.
Hey, you too, brother. Bear down.
All right, I don't know if I'm still. Badge told me I was breaking up a little bit when I was talking there. I don't know if I'm still good or I'm breaking up or not.
Wow. I mean, what more can you say?
Oh, yeah, he is. Badge, you're on a little delay here, but hey, either way, here we go. Badge is on a delay. It's the AC and Bobby show. Hey, so, but either way, man, Jermaine, me and Jermaine went back and forth a lot when a couple years back, when the whole Colin Kaepernick thing went down, right? And I won't say we went back and forth because we were both step for step, but we had a lot of conversations at that point. And he's a passionate dude, man. He's a dude who, you know, he will share his thoughts, and he like, you know, stands with what he believes. And for somebody not to waver or sway, I think is one of the best things that we can have in people, because too many people are influenced and inspired by other people's thoughts, and not they don't stick to their own, or they get swayed. So stand up dude, always right there, man. He'll answer, he'll DM. Barlissimo, thank you for the donation, man. We appreciate it. And the rest of you, if you can afford to, hit him up. If not, share his site. Share his site, because all of us have more reach than what we believe. So if you can't afford to do it right now, then just share it, because we believe that the power is in communication, man, and you guys can get it out there and go. Let's welcome to the show Mr. RKB, Mr. Ryan Kirkland Billings. I mean, I know, dude. I know, and it's unfortunate, but we totally understand. We know you weren't here for kickoff. Everybody knows that you weren't here at the beginning, but it's okay, man. When you're out there getting calls in the middle of the night to go fight fires and whatever, you gotta put that rest back in your face, and that's something that I, do not do. But look at it. RKB, what's up, brother? How you been, dude?
What's going on, fellas, man? I feel like I came in at a great time, man. We just had a hell of a guest on, man. That's inspiring, man. It touched me just hearing about all the stuff that he does. So I came in at the perfect time, man. I came running up tunnel at halftime, just with the helmet dragging just a little bit, but I'm here. We here to do this, fellas.
Remember when Bobby Boucher showed up at halftime and won the Bourbon Bowl? Do you?
The Bowl, baby. I mean, the Bears won against the Giants today.
Hey, all right, so let's get in. I'm commenting in the chat right now. I know we've had a lot of stuff in there. I haven't really been totally on it, so if anybody's asked questions and I missed them, I apologize. Just throw them back in there. I know there's a lot of opinions and perspectives in there, and that's exactly what we are. We said it before. #fanalist. People sometimes confuse you for being analysts. We don't get paid. None of us get paid. Like, if you don't get paid, you're a fanalist. If you get paid by, I won't even say by who, by anybody, you're an analyst. And that's just how it goes. So we don't get paid. We're just fanalists, and take it with a grain of salt. Take it as opinion. Take it as heart. Take it as whatever. I get it, but this is where we're at with everything. Let's run into this Giants game, man. I know we're already a good way into the show. Thanks everybody for sticking out. The chat room's blowing up. And let's run into these Giants. I know we got our boys on deck. Tooch and the Goon for the fantasy breakdown. We'll get injury reports. They'll start flying across the Twitter feed here shortly. But let's run into this Giants game, man. We got a Giants team coming in, right? Granted, I would have been at this game. I'm sure I would have scooped KB up in Indiana and rolled down, and it would have been a thing. We would have made a day of it. But Either way, we got this Giants team coming in there. We got Daniel Jones coming in, who he did all right. You put pressure on this kid. He throws interceptions. He fumbles the ball. He loses it. He still is. I'm not going to say he's shit. He's still good. We got an underrated. I will say we have an underrated Giants team coming in here that everybody thinks that they should smoke show, but I don't believe is the case for this team this year. Joe Judge took over. They got a lot of big names in that staff, and they have a lot of leadership there. They have a lot of previous head coaches there. This Giants team coming in, opening day, Soldier Field. Where you guys sit with this thing? What do you know about the Giants? What do you want to talk about the Giants? I'll just throw it out there. Whoever starts talking first wins the game. Go.
I'm worried. I mean, our offense has got to show up a lot better than it did last week in the first half, because if you look at the top three things that was beating us last week, it was AP finding the fountain of youth, TJ Hawkinson, just tearing up our linebackers, and then Danny Amendola tearing us up in the slot. And you look at the Giants roster, they have better players at all three of those positions. So if we don't knock the rust off our defense and play a lot better, or the offense shows up and we have a shootout, we're going to be in some trouble, and we might be 1-1. I'm going to be honest. And then everybody will be like, well, there goes the Bears.
Yeah, I mean, it was that game. It was like we talked about the first show of the year prior to week 1, where we said there's going to be a trap game in here somewhere, right? There's going to be a trap game, and honestly, it started off horrible for us. Even though we went 1-0, it started off horrible for us because the first 5 teams we play are all 0-1 right now. First 5 teams. Yeah. So some of these teams are going to lose again this week. So we're going to have 0-2 teams. We're going to have trap game after trap game after trap game coming. And granted, besides Tampa, who's probably picked to win every week, no matter what happens, right? The Giants are a underestimated team, I believe. Saquon, there's no way that this dude's only getting 6 yards in a game. He had 15 carries last week for a total of 6 yards. That Steelers defense it's a beast defense, man. They do their thing and they get after it. Yeah, there we go. Bottom line, 6 yards, 0.4 yards per carry. But out of the backfield catching the ball, he did pretty well. I think he had 60 yards, which is more than, I don't know. Either way, it's just he's a weapon, man. And Saquon has cut us up in the past, and it's not something that I really want to see this week. I think, honestly, my mindset going into this would be that Roquan spies Saquon the whole time. It's a Quan v. Quan, and we see what happens. Badge, what's your thoughts on this Giants team running in, man?
I don't think they are what they showed Sunday night at all. I definitely think Saquon Barkley is a weapon and can be used in any way, shape, or form. Their defense, I don't think is stout, but offensively, they have the ability to put up points, and our front 7 really needs to put pressure on Daniel Jones. You saw what the Steelers did by, putting pressure on him, and they really did a nice job really limiting what not only Barkley did. I mean, it's 16 rushes for 6 yards. That's astounding to me. And then, the pressure they put on Daniel Jones, that's something we need to see from our defense. We need to hit the quarterback. We were only able to do that one time last week. And Matt Stafford isn't really a super mobile guy. And we couldn't get to him. So, Daniel Jones, he's a little bit younger, so he's got a little bit more in those legs. You saw him on the interception that he had. He was outside the pocket and got hit as he was letting the ball go, popped it up in the air.
He'll make mistakes.
The defense, he's gonna. It's a second year. Everybody rides Mitch about his mistakes. Daniel Jones is going to make those mistakes as well. These other young quarterbacks in the league are going to have those. So, I definitely think this is a game we should win. But you know, I mean, it is. It's the Giants. I feel like every time we play them, it's always a tough game, no matter who's better and, you know, better on paper versus better on, you know, the field.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to be a great game. I definitely think the Bears have the edge, though, coming off a victory, finishing strong, and now they need to carry that momentum.
Definitely.
Yeah,
And
I was
I
gonna
know
say
you.
with my big thing,
Go
man.
ahead.
I'm more worried about that defensive line right now. It was talked about me a little bit before on after game shows and stuff. You look at we got gashed through the middle. That presence of Eddie Goldman is greatly missed, and I I understand you got to have faith in the players you have, but to not bring somebody else in that's a bigger body like a Snacks Harrison or anybody else that's out there at the moment, it is kind of shocking and scary to see. We just had a 33, 34. How old is Adrian Peterson now? I mean, he's pretty much a relic at running back, and you can see him still killing the Bears. And you see the runs going through the middle. That doesn't bode well when you have a Saquon Barkley coming in. Somebody who will break those tackles and keep running. So that's what I'm more worried about right now. I would love to see Robert Quinn play because if he's not playing, then our only pass rush does come from Akeem Hicks and Khalil Mack, which in hindsight isn't the worst, but you've seen how we still couldn't get after it last week. You've seen holes on Khalil Mack. If you're gonna hold Khalil Mack, you need a Robert Quinn coming from the other end. So I'm not gonna subscribe to the fact that it's gonna be a shootout. I don't believe that. I think if we do put up a lot of points, I think it will be the Bears that put up the most points. But I think this game is close. It's going to be a low scoring affair.
Yeah, and I get it. I know. Just touching on what Badge says, I know Stafford came out and dissect everything, but Stafford's probably the best process. One of the best processing quarterbacks in the league. Daniel Jones isn't that. Daniel Jones gets pressure, he collapses, he starts to break down. The Giants defense last week gave up like 4.7 yards a carry. Our offensive running game was intact. I think if we control the ball, right, like any game, you control the ball, you start, get downfield with that running game, throw your passes when you can, and start to carve up that defense. That secondary, it works. We had to go to a game of catch-up last week, and we forced Mitch to be good, and he was. We forced Mitch to make the passes. We forced him to come from behind, and he did. Hopefully that's not the case this week. I don't want to force anybody into anything. When when it starts to happen, and if you can win a game by running the ball and throwing your short passes for the win and just methodically move downfield, I think that's the best bet to move downfield. We know Jones, like we said, turns passes over, whatever. He had 2 picks last week. And I see this defense coming out and actually making a statement. But then again, I think, like I said, I think last week was an outlier for Saquon. I think Saquon does some damage to us today. And I think we have to rely on pressure and mistakes in order to turn this game, into us just keeping total control of it.
Well, the Giants' offensive line is trash. I mean, it's complete garbage. If Mack and Hicks and Quinn don't show up today, I've got a lot bigger issues with us than I do. You know what I'm saying? Because like last week, I expected them to blow out with a rookie right guard and a backup right tackle, and we had 1 sack. I don't want everybody to think that don't think we have a shot in the game. I'm just trying to be a realist. Now, Daniel Jones, when you get pressure on him, we saw it last week, he'll throw the interceptions. The last year, he was like one of the top fumbling quarterbacks in the league. So we know how Mac does. If he's coming around that edge, that arm's up, he's coming for that ball. So we'll find out today if Daniel Jones has fixed that issue or if this is going to continue to be an issue for him holding on to the football.
Yeah, I was chuckling. We got Gaines in the chat. It wouldn't be a chat without Gaines saying A gap in the chat. We gotta shut down that A gap with Saquon. I get it, Gaines. It has to be filled, man. There it is, the A gap chat, Gaines. Yeah, he has to fill, and he didn't. Like Danny wasn't filling last week. We seen it a couple times, right? There was times where he tried to go outside and then went inside, whatever. He just needs to get in there and fill it. The Giants' whole line, they got a couple rookies there. They got a couple first-time not first time, maybe second-time starters there. And this is a lot that we should pull apart. The problem is, right, we have this defense rated at a place where I don't know if they're going to get there. I honestly don't. I'm not sure that this defense is going to get to where we think it's going to go. I think they're going to be good. I think they're going to be top 10, but I think that there's a big, like we said last week, a big difference between being top 10 and being top 5 or number 1, whatever. Either way, I think that we pull out a victory against the Giants. I think we still are able to do our thing. Anthony, you're totally correct, man.
Absolutely.
We miss Goldman. Goldman, as we've said all last year, he's the unsung hero of that defense. And we definitely miss his body up in the middle and doing things and controlling that line. It's a thing, man, when they have to put 2 guys on him, when they have to put 2 guys on Akeem, when they have to put 2 guys on Mac, when now they have to put 2 guys on Robert Quinn. It's a big sway of things, man. There's not enough guys to block what we got. But it starts in the trenches, it ends in the trenches. That's where it happens. So I just think, man, I do believe that we'll come out and do our thing. I do believe that last week they know they snuck away with a victory, and that they're going to come out firing a little more. Defense, offense, special teams, I think we see a little increase all the way around. Hopefully play calling remains the same. And yeah, Trey Mack says he's going to give it a few games before we decide if our D is horrible. I agree, man.
That's true, because it's kind of like preseason,
Yeah.
The first few games, working out the kinks, kicking off the rust. Yeah, I could see that for sure. But we got some tough offenses. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to look ahead, but we got Atlanta. You know what I'm saying, in the next week's game. And they got all kinds of weapons. So hopefully this defense shows up today and I see something that I can say, okay, here we go. Let's go. I'm wearing my boy Bojack today. So
I think we all went defensive jerseys today.
Yeah, you
crazy,
got Mac
man.
and
you Photoshop it on me. It's there.
Yeah, I think we all went defensive jerseys today. And I think that says something, though. It says something about the fandom of it and where we're at right now. I know none of us are comfortable with the offense, but I think we're comfortable enough. But maybe this Lions team is a lot better than what we thought, right? Maybe I know that a lot of the experts picked them to win our game that we played, but maybe they're a lot better than we thought they are. And maybe this defense, hung with a really good fucking offense. And that it'll be shown in the next couple of weeks. Anthony came with a question. If Mitch has the same first half of last game, do you bench him? No, I don't.
Not at all.
I don't bench him mid game for really anything.
If he's turning the ball over, I'm putting him on the bench.
Yeah.
But if he shows up, he's taking care of the ball. It's just, he had receivers dropping passes. Yes, he missed some passes. He threw behind Ted Ginn and he threw I thought the A-Rob pass was bad in the end zone, and then he missed Anthony Miller on the other side of the end zone. I don't know whether that was the wrong route by Miller or some sort of miscommunication.
It looked like a miscommunication, bro.
Yeah.
It looked like he was trying to throw him to that pylon at the corner.
Yeah, I was thinking that too, but I didn't want to. I'm a fanalist, so I don't want to jump to conclusions. But if he's turning the ball over, fumbles, interceptions, etc., and giving the other team a chance or a much larger chance at victory, then I'll bench him. But if he's taking care of the ball, and we're just having trouble moving it. I don't know how else to say that. If we're running like we're running through a swamp or something, then I'm going to leave him in there.
So like we seen last week, right? And I think it's something that we talked about. Obviously Mitch has confidence in our tight ends. I think there was a total of 9 passes thrown to the tight end.
He was trying to force feed Graham all day.
Yeah, and it's a confidence thing. And this is what we said was missing last year. There was no confidence in tight ends. There was at least 2 passes to Demetrius Harris. There was 8, I think, to Graham. There was 1 to Komet. It's a lot of looking at the tight end. And although Blake Martinez he's the showstopper for the Giants. He's the Giants linebacker. I think he had 13 or 14 tackles last week. I watched their all 22. He had 12, 13, 14 tackles, but he's a beast, and he's who you're reading. Like, he's the read. When you get to the line of scrimmage, he is the read. And you go from there. But there was a couple of plays last week where Graham was wide open and we threw it to somebody else. That's okay with me. The play was completed. If it wasn't completed, would it be different? Maybe. But the tight end is definitely, I think, our number 1 weapon. And that's it's the what sways this offense into being really good or really bad. And once you start running with that, the play action works. The the run plays, the deep passes, let Mooney burn somebody. But like we said, it all starts down low, man. It all starts with the offensive line. I don't think Leno was as bad as, I think it was just, he might have been the weakest point, but I don't think it was bad. And then we go from there, man, and see what we can get on this. I believe this team goes in. I think we win outright. And I think this is one of the celebratory games to where, everything's kind of hitting. And then from here, we, keep moving downfield. And Allen Robinson dissects the Giants. Allen Robinson cuts the Giants up every year.
There's nobody there on his level that can cover him. I can't even tell you who's in the Giants secondary, honestly. The defense is, they traded. Well, that's because you're a Michigan guy. But he ain't done shit. Hey, all I know about their defense is Leonard Williams, honestly. And that's.
But no, man. I know a few dudes on the defense, man. And I'm not going to lie. Their defensive line's not shabby. But at the same time, it shouldn't be like we playing, let's say, the Saints, you know what I'm saying, when they had Cam Jordan and Sheldon Rankins, and now they got Davenport that's coming across. It shouldn't be like that. It shouldn't be like when we played the Packers back in the day or the Vikings back in the day. They're a young squad, man. So we should beat them. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to sit here and say that we're not. We should beat them. It's a very winnable game. But in the same ticket, Trubisky come out and throw another 6 touchdowns and light them up like he did the Buccaneers. But at the end of the day, it's going to be, it's the Giants. So, blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying? We can't have nice things.
I touched on that earlier, KB.
we can't have nice things, man. But go ahead. It's cause and effect, man. That's all I feel, man. It's cause and effect in Chicago.
For sure. We definitely need to light it up, man. Anthony, I seen your question in the chat. I'll answer it here in a little bit, but we definitely need to light it up. And there's only a couple guys that are going to tell you how to light it up on the scoreboard. The Fantasy Football Goon. We got Mr. Joey 2 Scoops Mandel and Mr. John Santucci. He's going to do a favor for a guy and get back to you. Dude, so boys, look at last week. I know I didn't do it. I feel something was missing though. I feel not that you guys are missing, but I just feel like I need the Goon and the Tooch intro to get me through the day. So I'm gonna put it together and maybe I won't sing it right now. I might sing it when we close out. But Joe, John, welcome back to the show, man. You guys got your fantasy football needs. These dudes right here, they're blowing up, man. Go follow them. Fantasy Football Goon on Twitter. Shows are Tuesday nights. These dudes are gonna tell you
waiver wire shows.
Yeah, they're going to tell you exactly where
yeah.
you need to be, what you need to do. If you're in a competition, or if you just like to gamble on Sundays, if you like to find a points bet or whatever, these dudes are putting out a lot of stuff and ready to get after it. Boys, like I said, welcome to the show. Let us know who are your starting sits. Who do you guys got for today? Who are the big names? Who are the maybe used to be a big name, might not do it this week? Joe, I see your rip roaring, ready to go. Go ahead, send it, brother. What you got?
All right, boys. So came out yesterday. Chris Godwin not going to play for the Tampa Bay Bucks today, dealing with a concussion, so he's been in protocol. Scotty Miller available in a lot of leagues, guys. He's going to be a PPR machine today. I love Scotty Miller as a wide receiver too, with a really, really high ceiling this week. Look for Scotty Miller to blow it up. Love me some Scotty Miller this week and against that Carolina Panthers secondary. Licking my chops over here, boys.
I love that pick. Carolina defense, probably the worst in the NFL. So I'm getting my Bucks in there. Tom Brady should have a big day. My start of the week. Ronald Jones against the worst run defense in the NFL. Love that pick, Joe. Ronald Jones, I think, will show his number one running back capability today.
Yeah, we got quite a bit of injuries out there too, guys, right now.
Yeah.
So we don't have an official report yet, but we do know Kenny Galladay is going to be out for the Detroit Lions. Miles Sanders looks like he's going to be playing. Same thing with James Conner. So those two big names that are back in your lineup, so you could feel pretty good piping them back in. Cortland Sutton, he's still a game time decision with that AC joint injury. Michael Thomas, they haven't officially said he's out this week, but it doesn't look like he's going to play. Did they officially rule him out? I didn't see it.
Well, as a Michael Thomas owner, as you know, I've kind of been keeping up with it. Man, I got so screwed last week. Golly. I changed my team name to the injury bugs. I had Michael Thomas hurt, James Conner hurt. I had Joe Mixon did nothing but fumble. I had Odell Beckham nothing. Oh my God. And I'm playing the goon up here. So
I like it. I like that. But we do have two more big name injuries. Le'Veon Bell has been ruled out. He's put on the IR. They don't exactly know how long he's going to be out, but Frank Gore, Old Man Rivers, taking over that backfield for the Jets. So he's actually worth the start in really deep leagues. I mean, he's a starting running back, and he's available in a lot of leagues. And then one of the best tight ends in football, guys, George Kittle, out tonight. Jordan Reed is going to take his place as a starting tight end. You can plug and play Jordan Reed, guys. I mean, that's a guy that's available.
Old Man Rivers.
Yeah.
Jordan Reed also old, too.
Old man injured hamstring is what I like to call him.
Yeah, what a benefit for you to have Godwin go out right after I give you Evans, huh? In our little fantasy deal. But it
worked out.
It was a good show. I got Amari Cooper, he got Evans from me. I have Dak, he's got Tom. So it just kind of worked out in a way to where we can kind of bonus up, and I think we were willing to stack and just give up because the stack is so much more beneficial than relying on maybe the one target. Who do you guys got this week on the terms of sit? I know injury we went through, but who's got the matchups this week that you just think are not beneficial? I know it's only 1 week of football, right? I mean, we've seen the Steelers come out like we talked about earlier and shut Saquon down to 6 yards. But who are the guys where you're like, yeah, it might be a good idea, but we've only had 1 week going on. Tooch, I'll start with you, man. Who do you got as your sit, or maybe just doesn't have the best matchup and won't get you what the fantasy scores are telling you this week?
Yeah, well, two of the best defenses in the NFL, the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Baltimore Ravens, are going against guys I would sit. My sit of the week was Melvin Gordon against that Pittsburgh defense that held Saquon Barkley to 9 yards rushing last week. And then the Baltimore Ravens pass defense, their cornerbacks are fantastic. They're going against the Houston Texans. So I'm sitting Will Fuller. This sounds like a Will Fuller game where he's going to disappear. I know people will have a hard time sitting Deshaun Watson, but last year against the Ravens, he scored 3 fantasy points. So something to keep in mind. I would sit Deshaun Watson if you have another option. There's some great streaming quarterbacks out there. I mean, you could pick up Mitch Trubisky, and I think he'd probably outscore Deshaun Watson this week. But I would
don't say that too loud, too. You know, a lot of people gonna come out of the woodworks. Oh my God, I can't believe you said that.
Exactly.
Ben Roethlisberger would be a great pickup and start, you know, in place of Watson. I love Big Ben this week.
Joe, what do you got?
My sit of the week, guys. I think the Minshew magic ends this week. He's got a really tough matchup against that Tennessee Titans secondary. I look for them to pound the ball on the ground, and I think that defense is just so good. I just can't see Minshew having as good as a week as he did last week. So I'm keeping him on the bench. Like Tooch said, Ben Roethlisberger, love his matchup this week.
Yeah.
And I even like on the other side of the fence against the Jaguars, I like Ryan Tannehill as a streaming option this week.
I was going to mention him as well too, Joe. I love their play action game with Derrick Henry. AJ Brown is out though. So I look at guys like Jonnu Smith. He had 7 targets last week and a touchdown. To be a great streaming option this week, or a daily fantasy play as well. And then Corey Davis went over 100 yards last week. He's probably sitting out there on nobody's team. Would be a good flex play.
Absolutely.
So
it looks like
oh, sorry. Go ahead, Joe.
No, I was just going to say, it looks like we got a question.
Yep, same deal. We got a question in the chat from Mr. Nate Moore. He's saying J. Brown Bills or D. Johnson Steelers. Who's the start and sit for this week? Which one do you take?
Well, you know who I like, Tooch.
I'm there too. What's his name is hurting. John Brown's a little banged up, so I'm going to take.
John Brown is banged up, and Deontay Johnson's a guy we've been talking about on Fantasy Football Goon all season long.
9
crazy
catches last week.
Yeah, 9 catches on I think 11 targets last week. I mean, the kid is going to be an absolute stud. I look for him to have a top 15 fantasy wide receiver year. I'm starting Deontay Johnson whenever I can. So
I do. I like that Steelers wide receiver course. Juju Smith-Schuster will be lining up in the slot against the Broncos. He usually does really well there with Ben Roethlisberger. So if you are concerned about Juju, I'm rolling him out there in some leagues. So also the Buffalo Miami game, Josh Allen has his best games against the Dolphins. So I love Josh Allen today. You might see him a rushing touchdown, two through the air. Maybe 60, 70 yards rushing.
So I got one coming at you, Tooch. A starter sit. Tight end category? Do we go with Higbee against Philly, or do we go with Hurst against Dallas? What tight end would you start over those two?
I don't think you can go wrong with either. Both are really good plays. I think I'm going to take Hurst today, even though I'm playing Higbee against the Eagles. Eagles have been terrible against the tight end. I think Higbee will have a big day. But Gerald Everett is back, and he's the other tight end for the Rams. They also have Woods and Cup going too. But I think and it'll be a high-scoring game. Now that the Cowboys are banged up at linebacker with Sean Lee out and Leighton Vander Esch out as well. So, I mean, Hurst was on the field a lot. I think he was on the field for 88% of the snaps. And he was running routes out there. He just didn't get the targets. I mean, he was matched up against Jamal Adams. So
Atlanta threw a lot of passes too, man. Atlanta just out there slinging the ball around. Joe, what's your perspective on those two tight ends?
I'm with Tooch. I'm a big Hayden Hurst fan this week against Dallas. I think he's going to be a top 5 fantasy tight end, and I think they're going to look his way often. He's the safety blanket, and on top of those other massive weapons that they have down there in Atlanta. So I like Hayden Hurst. I do like Tyler Higbee as well. Like Tooch said, I have no problem starting either guy, but the advantage for me goes to Hayden Hurst.
Well, fellas, I have to tell you that was a straight setup and perfect because I'm playing Tooch in our fantasy league this week. my two tight ends are Higbee and Hurst, and I have Higbee starting right now, but I'm about to switch him, Tooch. We're about to go toe to toe. I'm telling you, I'm not.
I left a lot of points on my bench, man, with the Browns and Bengals. I just didn't get my players in time. I've got more than this is the most leagues I'm playing in ever. So I was like, I forgot I had Tyler Boyd on the barroom team, and then
good game.
I put him in on another team, and I was like, okay, I'm done. I got Boyd in, and then after the game, I looked down. I was like, what the hell are all these points on my bench for the barroom league? It's like, oh my god, I forgot to set my lineup before Thursday.
Welcome to my world. Robbie Anderson on my bench last week, 35 points, and Hollywood Brown on my bench with 20.
My lineup is now set. I have fixed my tight end category.
There you go.
And I'll go back to the YouTube chat. Sorry if you guys had questions in YouTube. I was more concerned about myself and beating Tooch, if I want to say it.
Little selfish.
I'm just a little selfish. Shouldn't Barkley be benched? That was Gaines. No, Gaines. Barkley should never be benched.
No.
It does dude,
Sorry,
like I
bud.
said, that game one was an outlier, man. Barkley, that was not on Barkley. And Barkley still got you points with touches, and he got you points with if you're in PPR, he got you, and then catches. I mean, I think he put up 60, somewhere around 60 in catches, not 60 catches, but yard wise, 29 rushing yards. Oh, never mind. I don't know what that says. But either way, no, you never bench Saquon Barkley. If you're asking me, I'm not a fantasy expert. I'm just saying I would never bench that dude unless he's got a bye week.
Last year against the Bears, he didn't do that bad for considering he was nursing that ankle injury. 17 carries, 59 yards, had two catches for 1 yard though. But I mean, that's a different Bears defense. They had Eddie Goldman in there last year. This year's Bears defense, I think, may be a little bit more susceptible to the run. So, I would never bench Saquon Barkley. You got to ride with him. I mean, we didn't know how good the Steelers' defense really was until after last week. I expect the Steelers' defense to put a hurt on a lot of offensive teams as well as the Ravens. So,
all right, boys. I know we're a little past like normal time, but whatever. This might be a 3-hour show today. I really don't give a shit. Why don't you guys give me your like week one standouts? Maybe some guys that are on the waiver wire, maybe some guys that came into the league and whether they're second year, third year, rookie, whatever, and they just blew it up last week, or they did fairly well for their position and outscored what they should have. Who are some guys that people are looking at that maybe aren't a sleeper where they're going to explode on their team, but they might be better than what they're rolling with right now? It doesn't matter the position, doesn't matter where we're at. Just some guys that are, sleepers that may, like you've seen in previous years, that you guys call out that are just great freaking pickups on the waiver wire, and they're still sitting there in leagues that are dudes that you think that people should go out and maybe stack on their bench and see what happens from here on out.
Well, I mean, I really think after watching Joe Burrow, Joe Burrow needs to be owned on every fantasy roster. 97 pass attempts in 2 weeks, folks. That's what you're looking for in a fantasy quarterback. The kid's been accurate. He's been great. I mean, I love what I'm seeing out of Joe Burrow. I'm going to be honest. I slept on him going into the season, but I really like Burrow the rest of the season.
What did I say before the season, Joe? 60 touchdown passes last year at LSU. I was like, it's the same kind of thing we said with Mahomes. Mahomes sat for a year behind Alex Smith, but Burrow being thrown into the fire. But yeah, he threw the ball 60 times last week. So
Jesus. You
got to like that. I mean, this is like garbage time, paradise for fantasy players.
Yeah.
But yeah, Burrow was a great deal, Joe.
Now, the last thing I got for you guys, and I kind of heard this last week when I was driving back in the damn middle of a freaking hurricane, Sandy or tropical storm, whatever. I'm driving back. I ended up fucking sleeping at a rest stop for 3 hours because I just couldn't drive anymore, dude. People were on the side of the road and in ditches and stuff. But something I heard while driving was all of your fantasy leagues should not have a kicker. you should go with another positional player. You like that. Everybody should remove the kickers from their fantasy leagues, and they should add another positional player or start 2 quarterbacks in the place of 1 kicker. What are your guys' thoughts on leagues that do that? And I don't know, maybe you're in a league like that. What's your thoughts on not having a kicker and leaving, taking everybody else to the field?
Well, we are in a league. We are in a league like that, Tooch.
Yeah, the guillotine league. Yeah, there's no kickers, no defenses. It's a lot of fun when if you're the low score out of 17 teams of the week, you're out and all your players go to waivers. So the guy who lost had Saquon Barkley last week, and Saquon went on to waivers and went for $510 in the auction bid on the next middle of the week. And that was you only get $1,000 for the season. So the guy who bought Saquon is he's at half rations for the rest of the year.
Wow.
Yeah.
But I kind of dig not having the kicker. I'm in another league where we don't have a kicker, and we just have it's called a super flex. So it can be any player. It could be a quarterback, wide receiver, running back, tight end. I think that's the way of the future for fantasy. I mean, I do like the old school kicker DST, but I do like leagues that do that because I think it provides you have to be more of a seasoned GM to kind of understand what you're doing. So I like it. It's just it's a little different, but fantasy is adapting to the league, and I like where it's going.
All right, so super flex league, what position do you put there?
It depends on the scoring. You have to really investigate the scoring for your league.
Yeah.
So I'm in a super flex league with the guys from the Blitz Network. There's like a 16-man league, 32 rounds. It was the longest draft of my life, 4.5 hours.
My wife would kill me if I was in a 4.5 hours.
I know. So, but yeah, we looked at the rules before the draft, and we're all like, "Oh, this is quarterback heavy scoring." So then everybody was taking quarterbacks early in the draft. I mean, I had to take in the first round. I had to take Kyler Murray.
Yeah. Well, at Guillotine League, I ended up taking Lamar Jackson the first round. That was the best pick. I picked 11th out of 17, so I didn't have a choice. Just figured I'd get some running backs on the way back.
Right.
But yeah. Kicker, abolish the kicker. I'm all for it. Bobby.
I'm in a different league where there's no kicker and no defense, and those 2 positions are just wide receiver, running back, tight end. No quarterback, but that's
they usually handicap the quarterback to allow that flex quarterback to be a flex position. So with the lower number for total passes and passing yardage.
Yeah. All right, boys. Let us give me your picks for today. If you had to throw money down, we're not betting. We're not okay. We're not. Joe, I would have too. Me and Joe were talking yesterday. Unfortunately, I'm in the state that doesn't allow me to gamble. But so let's not go with heart. Let's go with mind. Predictions for today. Who's your pick? Bears or Giants? Joe, coming to you. Who you got?
I took the Bears. I actually made a bet on the game. $25. I bet the Bears minus 5.5 and the over at 42. So I'm liking the Bears today. I think 42 is a really low over under. So I think they're going to score just enough points, and I expect the Bears to have a nice showing against that Giants defense. I hope so.
Sweet. I gotta go. So this is the second person. Ravi come up just said in the chat, I went on Bovada. Lets me bet even though I'm in a state that's not legal in. Wolf. What's Wolf? Twitter. If you guys are on Twitter, go search. Brandon Janowski. Search the Wolf. He told me the same thing, so I got to check that out. Tooch, what's your bets for the today? Who you got in this head-to-head matchup?
Well, I like the Bears to win, of course. I think they'll take down the Giants. I don't like Daniel Jones against that Bears defense. Hopefully they blitz enough and they don't play some crappy zone or prevent defense that allows a late cover by the Giants. That's why I don't like that 5.5 number. I probably tease that down 4.5 or 3.5. Tease the number down a little bit, and I'd feel a lot more happier about that bet.
Awesome. All right, so I'm looking at this thing, Bovada Sports. Is that what I'm looking for? Just the big B? because there's a couple on here, but I'm gonna go with it. I'm gonna try to throw money down today. We'll see what happens.
You want some daily fantasy picks?
Yeah. Give me whatever you got. Send them.
All right. Well, like I said, I like Ronald Jones. He's only $5,200 on DraftKings.
Oh yeah. See, I'm fucking slipping, Tooch.
Raheem Mostert is only 6,400, and I like San Francisco to run the ball against those Jets linebackers. And then I love the Colts wide receivers against terrible Minnesota cornerbacks. Minnesota might be the worst pass defense. Danielle Hunter's injured. They don't have much of a pass rush right now. It's not your typical Viking defense that's usually been pretty good under Mike Zimmer. So Paris Campbell, 9 targets last week, 7 catches. He's a slot receiver that Phillip Rivers likes to favor. He's only $4,500. I like that matchup against the Vikings corners. And then Marquise Brown, only 6,200. I like him to break free for a touchdown on that one. Allen Robinson, 6,400 on DraftKings. I got him in my DraftKings lineups too. And I'll give you a sleeper defense that looks really good is the Cardinals defense against the Redskins. They're only $3,000 on DraftKings.
The Redskins defense came out though. The Redskins defense showed a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. And that defensive line is great.
And Tooch, I think we got to talk about a quarterback, one of the best values out there on DraftKings right now. Kyler Murray, only $6,100 going against that Redskins defense. I mean, it's a good D, but Kyler Murray is going to put up some points with his legs and with his arm. So
defensive line on the Redskins, man, that might be
that's
one of the best.
Washington football team.
Sorry, the WFT.
I'm never going to get used to that.
I wish they would have just changed the name before the season. Why it's something like Red Hawks or something like that. I don't care. Give me something I can talk about. I feel like I'm talking about a TV station, the WFT.
Yes.
Sounds like a generic. You're playing a generic video game, and you just create
right.
In our
football team.
In our guillotine league, there's a team called the Fantasy Football Team.
Right. I didn't get that until now, Joe. All right, I didn't get that riff. That's a good one.
All right, so I'm trying to go on Bovada right now. The first one kind of messed me up. It said that I'm not allowed to play this, but now I'm on the one that's just a big B in the app and not a B with a Ovada below it. So we'll see. Maybe this works. I don't know. Boys, I appreciate you guys, man. Like we said, we're pushing it.
I'll give a games flex here with my sleeve.
I appreciate you guys joining us. Maybe I will. Ooh,
look at the guns on Tooch.
Oh,
that's for my guy Gaines.
Hit that Macho Man elbow drop.
The big gains. You can catch the big gains and Mr. John going afterwards with Aldo after the game. Yeah, definitely. We'll all be there. Boys, thank you for joining us. We appreciate it. Nothing but well wishes and good luck today in your fantasy leagues and for Bears football. We'll catch you guys during the game and after this show. Bear down, fellas.
All right,
bear down, good boys.
Bear down, guys.
Later, guys. Good luck in your matchups.
Thank you.
All right, man. I'm trying this Bovada thing, and I don't know.
Don't worry about the show. Just gamble.
Yeah. You guys go ahead. I'm trying to make money here. Let's push this thing over to Mr. Ryan KB, Mr. Ryan Kirkland Billings, the fireman.
All right, fellas, man. It's the first fiery segment. It's from your boy KB, man. My fiery takes, man. And the things that got to be spoke on, man. The Bears freaking fandom, man. Oh my God. You like my man said that we had on. You guys are insufferable. Jeez. After a win, we take to Twitter, we take to every media outlet to kill the man who just threw accounted for 3 touchdowns. We kill him still. This is why we can't have good shit. We can't have good things in Chicago. We can't. You know what I'm saying? I'm out here like Stephen A. Smith right now. We can't have good things, okay? I feel like a New York Knicks fan. It's horrible, man. We need to cut this out. We need to have more love for this team. We need to have love for what we're doing right now. We're 1-0. We're doing fantastic right now. We're 1-0. Let's act like we're a 1-0 team. We're going against the freaking Giants for God's sake, man. Let's be behind this team right now, man. Let's be behind this team, dog. So that's my fiery take for the week, man. Get behind this team right
Mr. Ryan Kirkland Billings with his fiery takes. Of course, we had to spin off a little bit of his fireman routine, right, and give him a little something to come out with. And either way, I mean, I agree with him. A lot of people, let's wait for the final outcome. You know what I'm saying? Like, wait for the final outcome. I guess everybody can have their beliefs, their whatever, and I'm not telling anybody not to. But I'm just saying, like, the end of the game is where it counts. A win is a win is a win. Put W's on the board and let's go. I really don't care if every game of the season is like this.
I don't know if I'll make it through the season if that happens. I'm gonna have a damn heart attack.
Pulling your goddamn beard out trying to do but as long as they pull it off and do it, man, I'm totally okay with it. I just want wins. I want to stack wins. I want to go. Of course, it all comes down to winning the close ones, right? And whether that's against Detroit or whether it's against damn Green Bay or Tampa Bay or whoever, I don't care. Win the close games and let's get this thing going. For you guys in the chat, if you're in the chat right now and you're there, I know there's a bunch of you guys in there. We appreciate your communication and talking this morning. Give us your predictions. Let us get your predictions and bold predictions. I think we're going to run with some predictions, bold predictions, maybe hit a little current events before we get out of here and go from there. But let me pass this thing over to Mr. Ryan Badgley. We'll see what he's got on his game prediction / bold prediction, and then I'll pull your guys' stuff out of the chat and see what you guys got from there. Badge, over to you, brother.
Yeah, so game prediction, I think the Bears win this one 31-13. You know, I definitely think we see a defensive takeaway this week with a touchdown associated, and we get a new end zone celebration. I also think we see Tariq Cohen get in the end zone, and a new dance from him as well from our brother Greg Braggs and the prize he gave away on his show. My bold prediction this week, and I'm going to be pretty bold. I think between RRH and Bilal Nichols, 3 sacks combined. So that's my bold prediction.
All right. I guess I'll jump straight into mine then. My prediction is Bears win because I'm a homer. It doesn't matter who we're playing. I'm picking the Bears, which is probably why it's maybe a good thing I'm not allowed to bet here in Kentucky because I lose some money. But I'm going to go Bears win. I'm going 28-24. And I think Mitch has a good game. I think David Montgomery gets in the end zone today. And I guess this will lead right into my bold prediction. My bold prediction is that the Giants will be driving down the field to win the game because, like I said, we're winning by 4. And our defense has a takeaway as time expires.
Nice.
I don't know how bold that is, but that's what I'm gonna say. My boy Bojack has a pass breakup in the end zone.
Bojack. All right, let's go through this. We got Robbie come up. He's going with the Bears win 13-10. We got Edward Shishili. I think I said that right. He's going 27-17 with a big bear down. Michael Williams, 34-13 Bears. Trey Mack, I don't care if the Bears win by a percentage of points. I'll take it. So he doesn't care either way. He's just going with the Bears win. Phoenix DB, we're going 30-16 Bears. Gio, the Bulls fan, 27-13 Bears. Everybody seems to be Mr. Mack for the win. He's going 33-17 Bears. I'm going with the Bears. I'm not going. I guess I'm going 31-10. But I'm going with rushing touchdowns. I'm going with, I think Cole Kmet comes out. He has a good game. I think he has, a couple catches. He gets some good yardage. Shows that he can move and kind of get the ball downfield, right, with a little run after the catch here and there. But I think Montgomery scores. I think Cordell Patterson scores out of the backfield. I'm going with a couple rushing touchdowns, and I'm going with I don't. And maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just kind of watching the team, previous years. I don't see Nagy building off of Trubisky's 3 touchdowns in the fourth quarter. I see him coming out and not kind of letting him build on that. I see him coming out and kind of taking that away from him. But that's where I'm at on it. Bold predictions. I guess, all rushing touchdowns is a pretty bold prediction. But I'm going to go with Matt Quinn. Mac Quinn on them fucking hoes. I'm going with Mac and Quinn coming in, and that they're just gonna, kind of light this thing up, and you're gonna see a fire that you saw, from Mac in 18 against Green Bay, where he came out and he was just crazy, right? And just doing it and going. And I think you see I think there's a couple times everybody's getting up off their couch today. And
we're going against a rookie left tackle, a center making his second ever start at center, and a backup right tackle again because Nate Solder opted out this season. So
yeah. There's backups. There's guys that just have their first start. We got Rock Davis in there. 28-13 Bears, he said. The gains report went with a 32-13. I went with a 31-10 big gain. So we'll take that too. Any other? I don't think there's really any more bold predictions that I have. I think Mooney does well. I think all in all, I don't see them, unfortunately, right? And I know we're all in the camp of re-signing A-Rob, but I don't see A-Rob being the key player to this game today when he's in the middle of a contract situation, unless Mitch audibles and starts to go to him because he's his number one, right? I don't see them. I don't know. Maybe I would hate to say that that's the reason why, but if A-Rob comes out right now in the middle of negotiations and puts up 3 touchdowns for a fucking $160, I mean, the shit just swung. You know what I mean? Like, what are you going to do from that point? So I think that there's I don't know, reason. Well, I wish there wasn't, but there's reason to believe that whatever. I think we see Cohen cut up, get upfield again and get after it and go from there, man. All in all, I think we got a Bears victory. I know I didn't ask you guys, but I am probably the only one in this room and maybe the only one in the chat that I picked Detroit to beat Green Bay. I picked Detroit to beat Green Bay today. I think it's a possibility. And
I don't know, man. Aaron Rodgers tore up the Vikings, and
nobody ever knows against Aaron Rodgers. That's the fucking thing, man. But I am going for them to tear him up. We got inactives on the board. The injury report finally came out. Week 2 inactives versus the Giants. We got wide receiver Ted Ginn Jr. is inactive, which means, dude, that
Mooney, baby.
Mooney is gonna get so many more reps out there. Yep. Duke Shelley, we knew he was inactive. Josh Woods, we heard yesterday he was inactive. Bond is coming in to replace Josh Woods. Bond has made it to the active list today to come in and kind of replace Josh Woods. Arlington Hambright, the pig, we know he's inactive. Riley Ridley, yep. And I didn't know Travis Gibson was inactive. That's one I did not know.
I gotta stop you, Bobby Bombs, because there is also another man on this panel that picked the Lions to beat the Packers today.
Ooh.
And it happens to be this sexy mofo right here.
Look at that.
I
wow.
just went back and looked at my picks because I'm like, wait a minute, I'm pretty sure I picked the Lions to beat the Packers today. And I sure did.
Well, I would say, I mean, great minds.
Just so everybody knows, we got a Yahoo
great minds unless we lose.
The games.
Well,
but some of the biggest things that I see right here from this week 2 inactives is not seeing Robert Quinn on there.
Yep.
Not seeing, you know what I mean? Those are the things that I'm looking for. Duke, we love Duke. I mean, we talked to Duke last week. Kind of know Duke's kind of fighting for his spot right now, man. And he knows it. He's not beating around the bush with that. He knows that he's fighting for his spot. I believe he's a healthy and active, but even though this doesn't say it, I think he's a healthy scratch. I don't know what happened to Ted Ginn. Woods was already reported on. Hambright did the same thing last week. I don't know. Big time. Travis, unfortunately, with Robert Quinn being back, Travis is out. I liked what I saw from him in week 1. I don't think there was any real big splash plays, but I liked what I saw from him. But honestly, if I had to pick between the two every day of the week, I'm going with Robert Quinn. KB, I don't think we got to you, man. Give us your score predictions, any bold predictions you got. Let us know what you got for this game, man.
I keep it real short and sweet. I'll say this. I feel like it's gonna be another rookie day. I feel like Jalen Johnson is gonna get a pick. Just because I seen him doing a peanut punch on a pass breakup, I'm gonna say a pick and a fumble for Jalen Johnson. He kind of solidifies himself. And since I got the you know what I'm saying, the wherewithal to see that my man isn't playing today, I know Darnell Mooney is probably gonna eat. I'm gonna say
Gio said it right there too.
150 plus yards receiving today and a touchdown for Darnell Mooney.
150?
150. It's a bold prediction, goddammit. I can say what I want to say.
Yeah, you're right. Don't mess with Stephen K. Smith down there.
I almost called you Stephen K. Biff, but that's
even better.
Don't call me no Biff. Boys, I think that's it. I mean, we can wrap this thing up. Look at Robbie said the same shit I said. 150, you crazy. Either way, I think we can wrap this thing up. A bunch of reports are coming out right now. I don't know why it took forever for the injury report to come out, but I don't know. Maybe that's what we got going forward. Maybe we need to push this back. Either way, we appreciate everybody joining us. If you guys got anything else you want to add? Anything else we're doing?
Thanks for tuning in, everybody. We appreciate it.
Sure.
Love
See
having
you
you guys interactive with us, man. And let's get this dub.
Yeah, I mean, let's get after it, boys. We appreciate everybody joining. Boys, thank you for coming out here. Mr. Jermaine Horton, thank you. If you guys are in the chat now and you missed it earlier, get over there, check out Jermaine Horton. Get after it. He's doing big things and changing the mindset of the youth, one kid at a time. For everybody who joined us in the chat room, for all your bold prediction, Bears predictions, and all in all, man, just appreciate you guys coming out. After show, join us with Mr. Tyler Ellis, the Games Report with John Buffone, with Aldo. They're gonna be there at 4:30 Eastern. As soon as the game's over, get back to the bar room, get it going. And we're going here. We can come out of this week 2-0. We come out of this week 2-0.
Yeah.
We could be sitting on top of this thing. NFC North teams are playing each other again this week. We could be sitting pretty at the end of this week. All in all, appreciate you guys. Appreciate all the support, Mr. Godfather, Aldo Gandia. Thank you for being there and scooping it up and taking care of everything. Boys, let's get a big Bears victory today. And
Bear down, baby.
Thank you.